Right, you ready to go?
Yeah, let me turn my music down a little bit.
No worries, dude.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport. We are back after last night's Who Darren Cup. Couple of weeks break, and we are back for this special night. It is a 90-minute race here at Kyalami. The drivers only have the one race to tackle this evening. Points are worth 1.5 their normal value, so a few more points on offer for drivers. And of course, it is that week of drop score rounds as well, so the drop score points will start to reflect on the table. And it's currently Michael Johnson who is on provisional fastest in this practice session. A couple of new drivers to mention as well. Vasic, the GT4 driver, comes to the GT3s as well. He is driving the Lexus in the silver class, and I believe we have got Stapley as well from the GT4s last night. He is here in an Aston Martin to take on this challenge. I'm your host, Mathew Duffin, back in the box with our American colleague, my partner in crime, my brother in blue. We tend to wear orange a bit more, but it's Grey Langley. Langers, good evening.
Langers, good evening. Welcome back. I've missed you.
I've missed you. I've missed the racing, and I'm so excited to get back going tonight. And I know we went back going with the GT4s last night. Some great racing last night. And yeah, good to be back in the comms box. Been 3 weeks. It's been 2 missed weeks, but 3 weeks in total since we've had a race. And oh boy, it is... It's been a while, and it's time to get back in the groove, and right off the bat we get a 90-minute treat on our hands with this one.
Absolutely beautiful indeed. The championship standings then as follows. Sam Greaves is your current championship leader on 290 points. He is 12 clear of Steve Millington, who is 4 ahead of his teammate Gary Leach. Mirko Ricci is P3, the Race 1 winner this season from Hungaroring. Wolski has gone quiet about his business for P5 at the moment. He is ahead of Sam Williams. Michael Johnson is in P7, but his form tonight could easily put him up the championship order. Tannen Ebone is 8th from Keenan Stardog, with Kieran Argent rounding out the top 10. Lino down in 11th place with Diego Flores in 12th. Mike Hunt is P13 from Sturrock to Block. Jamie Lee, Paul Williams, Nuke Waste, Dronelander, Craig Gabino, Betterson, Cummins, Taylor, and obviously Vasic this evening. So it's great to see these guys back out on the circuit, and it's going to be even better to see what they can do. In that bronze championship then, we are looking at Page, who leads the way at the moment. In the bronze championship, I was just looking at practice standings, not actually the bronze leader at the moment. That is Malarex, who is the fastest bronze driver out there. Page in a Porsche, so is Malarex, and the Porsche pretty good at Kyalami. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Cherry Moore is second, only 6 points separate the two of them. Peckman is third from Tucker, Malarex, Broom, Privet, Rob Smith, who still, our thoughts go out to Rob Smith. Obviously we won't go too much into it. If you are in our Discord channel, you may have seen the information that Rob shared yesterday. So Rob, our thoughts are with you and the family. We hope for a speedy recovery for you all soon. It is Matt Taylor, I believe, or Mark Taylor in P9 from Phil Atherton. Simcoe, Stapley, and Ian Best, actually then Stapley, but it's where I put Stapley in at the moment. We have got still a fantastic grid of 31 cars. No Phil Atherton at the moment, no Ian Best, can't see. No, Simcoe is in there, he's up in 20th place at the moment. But what a day this could be, what a track this is for a bit of motor racing, Langley. Kyalami is an absolute belter of a circuit. On ACC, it is one of my favourite circuits on ACC. I think the track is phenomenal. I think it's a beautiful place to come racing. And what a day this is going to be.
I am very much looking forward to tonight. I absolutely love this track as well. It absolutely suits GT3 cars the best, I think. Higher downforce, it struggles a little bit, but when in GT3s and GT4s, these cars come alive, and we are just about ready to get into quali. And let's hope, because there was not any reminders this week. It just popped in my mind myself. It's been a 3-week gap since it got implemented as well. There is a quali rule. The bronzes qualify first in the first 10 minutes, and then the silvers. And I'm lucky I popped back over, because there's a driver who hasn't driven yet this season who actually probably would have been caught out by that. So let's hope it goes all smoothly this week. I'm not a steward, so I'd like to ask what happened 3 weeks ago when De Block De Block was investigated by the stewards, asking that to Matt, because I'm not sure what happened. If you remember. I do
remember.
qualifying.
Sorry, I was just typing up since at the end of practice the post. I can tell you what happened with that, because De Block has to serve a qualifying ban. He lost his pole position, so that point went the way of Steve Millington, and then he lost his. He got a qualifying ban for his troubles as well. So far, not a lot of drivers have left the circuit, left to go out on track at the moment. Simcoe has. Privet is also on his way out. Tucker is out in qualifying as well. So only a handful of bronze drivers at the moment out there on the grid. And the bonus this week, Langley, is they haven't got to worry about that rain in a drying circuit or a circuit that is getting wetter. To answer Wannes class in the chat, there will be the Pro race tomorrow night. We are back all week for Pro-Am and Who Darren Cup, and we're back for the rest of the season. Again, we apologise for the electrical issues that I suffered at home, and the whole thing of SimPlay Motorsport, we haven't not streamed a race in any championship event we have done, so we didn't feel it was right to run the two races last week and the week before without them being streamed, because that's part of the way that we run things at SimPlay. We like to make sure that everything is broadcasted for you guys, not just for the people sitting at home watching, but for the drivers who like to go back and have a watch. So yes, De Block is on a qualifying ban tonight, and that's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. So this is going to be interesting. Lino actually has a qualifying ban as well, so Lino should be on a qualifying ban tonight as well. So them two will not qualify in this race. Phil Atherton has now got in as well, so we've got, I believe now, 32 cars. Yes, 32 cars on the grid, yep, because Langley isn't a driver tonight. So Cherry Moore, he's currently out on track. So is Peckman, as is Neil Broom and Mark Tucker. So is Taylor, Malarex, Privet is as well, and then Page, Simcoe and Stapley. And this is going to be interesting, Langley, tonight, because if some of these bronze drivers just mix up and shake up this qualifying grid, you know, this could have a real interesting start, because it's not like the feature race where it's an hour long and the drivers will just qualify for that. This is an hour and a half, so it's going to be interesting to see what they can do, because you've got that extra half an hour to play with now in the race.
Yeah, and I think what you mentioned earlier, as it looks like Privet's already going for an off-track early on his first lap, but we thought last week we were going to get changeable track conditions, and we did ever so slightly, but the class of the bronze fielding qualifying last week was last race, I say last week out of habit, but it was Cherry Moore, and we thought that his time would have been beaten easily, and to no avail. That was a very competitive time overall within the field. Top 5, I think it was third fastest at the end of qualifying. So yeah, if they can shake this grid up, I mean, some of these bronze drivers have definitely shown silverish pace in these first 2 rounds, and we'll see if that pays off tonight for a 90-minute race where points are worth a little bit extra if you can capitalize off of it.
Yeah, let's wait to see what happens for all the drivers out there. We are currently on board with a new driver of Stapley, but we're going to go down to that of car 23, who's about to come across the line to complete his first flying lap. Remember, again, that the silver drivers can line up in the pit lane. They're not allowed to go through each other, because that will just cause a few dramas on the pit exit, but they can line up at the bottom of the pit lane come the end of this, or just before the end of this 10 minutes. And the bronze drivers, if they start a lap before the 10 minutes are up, they will be able to finish that lap that they start. Mr. Titan says, quick suggestion for the 90-minute race, how about 2 mandatory pit stops? There's a suggestion feedback form on the Discord chat, Tanner. We'll fill that one in there, and we'll discuss that for next season, because I don't mind that at all, as Stapley's gone provisional pole in the bronze category. Let's jump down to Page, who's not quite near the end of their lap at the moment. Here comes Neil Broom, though. What can Neil do? Goes up into P3 so far. The 777 of Malarex, who was the fastest bronze in practice. Is this going to reflect now in this qualifying session here tonight, as he comes across the line, and he only goes into P6. The 63, I believe, of Privet. No, not Privet. It must be the 53 then of Phil Atherton. No, he's leaving the pit lane. So Phil Atherton exiting the pit lane. Must have been the 13 of Page, who comes towards the line just behind the Ferrari of... Oh, that looks like Dronelander's Ferrari. To me, it is Dronelander's Ferrari, so Dronelander is out on circuit when he isn't meant to be. So, once again, another silver driver not abiding by the rules of this qualifying session.
Well, yeah, we'll just not pay attention to it, honestly. We'll keep an eye on all these bronze drivers' qualifying times. Stapley at the front, right in front, like barely, just a nose in front of Cherry Moore, and we know he has good pace. So these top three, Peckman right there as well, all very, very close together. It's looking like it's going to be a good quali between these three.
Yeah, it could be at the moment.
Like
Broom's only 2.5 tenths off the back. In fact, Tucker now just goes provisional pole for the bronze category. So let's see what Tucker's able to do in this session, trying to pick up another driver coming through. Apologies about the double audio. I'd left my controller unmuted, so that should be sorted now, as here comes Simcoe to the line. Finds a little bit of time, but no real improvement for him. Taylor will be the next man before Neil Broom. I'm looking forward to his qualifying session. What was we seeing? Just a high 41 in that practice session. Track's obviously got a little bit warmer. Very cloudy
Cherry
here
Moore
at
put
Kyalami
down the
today.
hammer on that lap, and 4.5 tenths clear the field now.
Yeah. And it's very cloudy today, Langley. Really cloudy. It looks like it's going to be similar weather for the Pro tomorrow night as Malarex moves up in to P number 5. What about Page, who's coming towards the end of their lap? Let's try and find the 74. That one's Dronelanders. We'll ignore that lap time. DJ Phil, he's just crossed the line, starts his first flying laps. Let's go back up to Page in this one then at the moment and see what Page can do. As towards the line he comes now. No improvement for Page that time around. The 311 of Peckman towards the line. He improves, moves up into third place. But Cherry Moore, like you say, really put the hammer down to take that pole position in this bronze series.
Well, I'll tell you what, a name that I'm not used to seeing at the sharp end of the bronze field is definitely Tucker, and he's second right now. I think he had just a little off track there on his lap. Maybe not, because oh, well, that's definitely an off track.
Yeah.
Now he hits the death curve at the penultimate corner, and yeah, the cheetah.
Yeah.
So that's his lap done, but yeah, he's up there in second right now, and he'll have a chance at probably, yeah, still 2 more laps. He'll start his lap before he crosses the line at 10 minutes. He can get 2 more laps in, but yeah, up there right now, only 4.5 tenths off of Cherry Moore.
Yeah.
And so good to see him up there at the top of this bronze class.
Indeed it is, and what we will be doing as well, we forgot to mention, there will be a 10-minute free practice session after this, so we will go to a quick break screen just after this qualifying session. That'll allow the drivers to just get anything they need for that 90-minute race, as Neil Broom goes up into second place. Cherry Moore extends his lead as well. Absolutely on fire. Really.
Malarex.
Oh yeah, within 3
Pops
tenths.
it up into P2.
Good lap time that. Good lap time from
Great,
Malarex.
fastest in practice, and showing that he's there to challenge Cherry Moore for this pole position.
Page.
A bit wide there. It's going to be very nip and tuck for Malarex to get another lap in.
Page just hit the cheetah there, so he's just ruined his current lap, and Page down in 9th place at the moment. So really for Page, Cherry Moore only being 6 points behind, he'll gain a point here at them as it stands at the moment. So Page needs to get on with this and get a good lap time in at the end.
I wonder if Dronelander just realized his mistake, because I just saw him pull off and return to the pits.
Well, let's wait and see what happens. Is there going to rain tonight? There is no rain forecast for this evening. The rain stayed away. Yeah, sadly, a 90-minute mixed weather race would have been... You imagine that race we had at Brands, that hour-long race we had at Brands with the extra half an hour. That would have been beautiful. But here comes Stapley. Next man to complete a lap. The 56 of Simcoe is invalidated. But it's good to see here, though, Langley, the top 8 in bronze, all within, or top 7, should I say, taking Dronelander's time out of it, all within a second of each other. So great to see there.
Stapley goes third.
4 tenths
Stapley
off
crosses the line, goes third. Great lap.
Broom's coming towards the line. Stapley's done. So that'll be Stapley's qualifying done. That is Neil Broom. Should No, looks like he's going to return that one to the pit lane, if you ask me, unless he's waiting for Cherry Moore. No, that was Malarex to go through. Broom will have time to get round that final corner and start one last flying lap. Malarex, if he's got the fuel to do so, he will be able to finish the lap he's currently on. You can see the yellow flags in the pit lane. That is the drivers waiting at the end. No improvement for Malarex there. The 53 of Phil Atherton, yet to set a lap time in this qualifying session. He's the next man to finish a lap. And
he'll be the first one to cross the line.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's back on the pad.
Yeah, it looked like it. It looked like he was on the pad, and here comes the rush of silver drivers at the pits. DJ Phil across the line and does set a lap time, slowest of the bronze class, but he does get a lap time in. As he crosses the line, and the only driver on a lap right now is Simcoe, it looks like.
It is indeed. He's just coming up towards the hairpin at the top of the hill. So can Simcoe improve any more? Let's see what will happen here.
The Ferrari looks roughed up a little bit. I don't know if that's just...
He looks like he's been in the wall somewhere.
Let's just say it was the Cheetah. It was probably the Cheetah, let's be honest.
Well, let's see what will happen then, because he's only 8 tenths off the pole, but 8 tenths separating the top 7 in bronze. That's a good effort, but is this going to be... You feel like it's going to be Cherry Moore's pole position here. Simcoe warming them tyres up a little bit there, it looked like, so I don't think he's going to improve this time around, and he slows and yields up, and that will be the end of Simcoe's qualifying session. Right, Mirko Ricci is not the first car on track. That looks like it could be. It's either Hunt or Greaves, and it is Hunt, so we'll stay on board with Hunt for the first part of this qualifying session. Langley, I'm just going to input the data for Cherry Moore on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, will do. So Cherry Moore with back-to-back bronze pole positions. Not quite as dominant as the one at Brands. He took that one by near enough a second. And the bronze class, a lot closer this week. 3, 4, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, 8 tenths off, all the way down to 8th place. So a lot closer this week. And... yeah, here come the silver drivers around the penultimate corner. A lot more silver drivers than there are bronze drivers. But luckily, because we cut the size of the field down, there shouldn't be too many penultimate or last corner issues for drivers on a lap. So, yeah.
So I'm seeing De Block has stayed in the pit lane. He obviously knows he's got that qualifying ban. We're on board with Hunt, who has started his first flying lap here. And this is now a chance for the silver drivers to get their lap times, get their opening laps on the board here. There is a car just ahead of Hunt at the moment. In fact, did he let Mirko Ricci go? I think he may have done, because it looks like it is. So we'll go to Mirko Ricci, who is the first car on the track. And we'll see what Mirko can do in this session then. The man who won the first race of the season back at Hungaroring 5 weeks ago. This should be the halfway stage of the season if all had gone to plan. But instead it is still week 3 here at SimPlay Motorsport. And the two races didn't get cancelled. They just got moved back because we haven't got to cancel any races for Christmas. So we are still doing the full 10 race calendar here this season. It should be an absolute belter of a championship as well. You've got Johnson. Watch out for Johnson. His practice pace was phenomenal.
Flying. Absolutely flying in practice. Did a 41 in practice, which is way clear of the rest of the field by near 5-6 tenths of a second. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out on him in this practice. But one thing that I want to point out as well is I think Gary Leach is one to look out for in this 90-minute race especially. You talk about someone who progressively improves as the race goes on. I think he could definitely be a shout as the race goes on. And there's that pace from Johnson, a 42.1 right out the blocks, 3 tenths ahead of Richie, 4 tenths ahead of Cherry Moore. Expect that to go down even more from where it is right now. But yeah, right out the blocks, Johnson showing that pace.
Yeah, he is indeed. So Johnson already putting that pace on the board. And look at Cherry Moore's lap time. I know these guys have only done 1 lap. Tyres still getting up to temperature and pressure, but Cherry Moore's lap time still good enough for 3rd place at the moment. But Michael Johnson on that provisional pole. What a lap time from him, as we're just going to wait to see car number 18. The last car out there for the time being is, oh no, we don't, because it just had a bit of a lag moment there. I think player Diego Flores may end up being disconnected in just a moment, because we can't press on him, so that would have been a lag issue for him. What a shame. And there he goes, off the timing tower. Where's Gary Leach? He's just bounced off the cheaters. That would have invalidated that lap. And the next car will be Mirko Ricci, who went second place, but 3/10 off the back of Johnson. Johnson's made a statement there already.
Very much, and it looks like he's caught behind another car. It's a BMW. I'm not sure which one it is, though, but they're both on a lap, so it's not like he's being purposely held up. Is that Wolski? No. Is that No, it's not Greaves. It must be Hunt then, right? Yeah, he's behind Hunt, who is down the pack compared to Johnson's pace. So if I were Johnson, I'd back off like quite a considerable amount, because I think you and I both know Hunt enough that he's just not going to get out the way unless you force the issue. So
Okay, Ricci finds a bit of time and goes provisional pole. Johnson can't do anything about that because he may have lost time behind Hunt. So let's try and pick up the 4.37. That is Jamie Lee down in 13th. Kieran Argent's currently 4th in the bronze category. Sam Williams goes provisional pole now with a 41.6. So a good lap there from from Williams, sorry, as here comes Jamie Lee. Bit of a wiggle out the final corner, no improvement there. The 180 of Paul Williams hasn't yet set a lap time. What will he be able to do in the Aston Martin? Flores, Williams and Leach haven't yet set a lap time to block, obviously, on the qualifying ban so far. As we say good evening to Yoshi in the chat, and he says, at least the endurance didn't get delayed. Indeed, it did not. And that is the bonus thing, because the endurance race will be on Saturday. 6 hours of the Nordschleife coming your way as Diego Flores slow out the pit lane as to not get in the way. Paul Williams moves into 28th, and we just now await for Gary Leach, the last man on his second flying lap. He hit the cheetah hard first time around. He was second fastest in practice, so it's going to be interesting to see where this could put Gary Leach if he's had a good lap here.
Yeah, we'll see where Gary goes after this lap. He goes P5, which is just ahead of the bronze pole sitter, Cherry Moore. That shows you how good Cherry Moore's time is. But honestly, I think these top three are in a world of their own in terms of fighting for this pole. And right now, Johnson's only going to get, he's going to be close to getting 2 laps in. He'll probably only get 1 proper lap in to finish this session. So that's a big chunk of time to find, almost 5/10 for Johnson. So this might be a fight between Williams and Ricci, as Ricci crosses the line, does not improve. Sam crosses the line, does he improve? He does not. But yeah, I think the fight right now is between those two.
I think you might be right. You know, it's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on as Vasic comes through the final corner. What can the Lexus do? Sam Greaves has moved up into P4, so a good lap from Sam Greaves. Sam Greaves was already 4. Vasic, though, has just moved into 4th place, the exact same time as Michael Johnson. Let's go back down to Paul Williams, who's about to cross the line for his next flying lap. That is Stardog just behind him. So we'll find
Wolski up into 6th, Millington into 8th.
Good lap from them two then. Does Paul Williams find an improvement here as he comes across the line up to 27th? What does Stardog do? Paul should be pretty good around here. A small improvement, but not a lot. Then we'll go back down to Gary Leach as Flores has just crossed the line. Still didn't get a lap time in. Let's go back to Gary Leach, who's the next man to finish a valid lap. We'll jump back then to, let's go to Hunt after, because we've been on Mirko for the last couple of times. We'll go to Hunt. Gary's got 2 minutes. We'll finish this one and get one more in, and that will be it. Everybody who's crossing the line roundabout may get another one in after that, actually, as Gary puts one into 3rd place. So let's see what happens. Where is Hunt on the leaderboard? He's down in 21st place. So interesting here to see what Hunt can do.
I was right. This will be Johnson's last lap. He crossed the line with about 1:35, which won't be enough to get around and do a one after that. So pushing it a little bit there. So this will be his last chance at getting that pole.
Sam Williams just went wide on the exit of the cheetah. So Sam Williams, as Ricci goes pole by 7 thousandths of a second, and Sam had just invalidated through the cheetah. Hunt moves up into 18th place. Let's try and find the 75 of Bettison now, coming towards the line. What can Richard Bettison do? Everybody's going to start their last lap. He does not improve there. Where's Kieran Argent? He's a little bit further back. Brian Craig coming into the final corner. So we'll go to Brian Craig. Then we'll check out Kieran Argent as Vasic moves up to 3rd place. What a tight grid this is at the front, Langley.
Yeah, very tight at the front. And maybe I was wrong. It might not just be between those two.
It might not be at all. Wolski moved up to 6th. Argent went up another spot as well. Let's go to the 18 of Diego Flores. What can he do? Yet to set a lap time at the moment. Couple of cars in front of him that may change around. Sturrock's just moved up into 14th ahead of Tanner. Top 15 separated by a second. Here comes Flores up into 26th. Next car to, well, finish qualifying, because is Gary Leach still out there? No, Gary's in the pits, so Gary is done. So Gary will not set another lap time in qualifying here. And Gary probably would have.
And this will be Johnson's
Gary would
last
have
lap.
probably just snuck one more lap time in, you know, because he was a bit up the road from Johnson, wasn't he? So he may have snuck one extra lap in, but it will not be the pole position for Gary Leach in this race. Here comes Johnson, 1 second on the clock, so that is qualifying done. Here comes Michael Johnson towards the line. He's not up, he's bailed on his lap there, so he's already called that one a day. Who's the 68? Let's try and find that of Hunt. So Mirko Ricci must have called it a day as well, because I can't see him out there. So Hunt's down in 18th place at the moment. Has Hunt got enough in the tank to find an improvement here and to work himself up ahead? He's currently behind the top 3 in bronze at the moment. Can Hunt get ahead of them? He can. Moves up to P9. No, he does not.
No.
Bit of a shock, that, to be fair, because I say a bit of a shock. I can't really remember where Richie was in pre-practice. We know Sam was up there. We'll go on to Taylor after Tanner Kneebone, who's currently in 16th place.
I think Richie was, like, back... He was around 10th, honestly. Like, that 8th, 9th area, and... Wow.
Kneebone stays in 16th. Andrew Taylor stays 19th. Wolski stays down in 6th position. A lot of drivers calling it a day on their lap times. Here comes Diego Flores to finish one. And then we've got the 4.37 of Jamie Lee, who's actually finished his qualifying, but he is coming around the top of the hairpin up the hill. And here comes Diego Flores, and what will it be? He moves up to P16 at the very end. Right, we'll take a very, very short break. Or I say short break. We'll take our normal 10-minute break, and we'll be back.
30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds.
Well, there's not a lot we can do. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, we need to apologise to all the drivers because our little test of the free practice into qualifying in between doesn't keep the same grid order. So we do need to apologise. The drivers who did get pole position will keep their points. I am just waiting for confirmation from the admin team.
For what, a restart?
For a manual grid order and a restart. Yes, that's what I'm waiting on. So I'm just waiting for confirmation. And we may get a quick restart going here in this race. And we will get the grid order then reset. Right, we are going to do Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the delay. That was on our behalf. We will now know not to put a free practice 2 in between qualifying and the race start. What we will do is just add to the wait time for the races in the future. Your grid order, though, is now set correctly. It is Mirko Ricci from Sam Williams with Vasic alongside Gary Leach. Johnson will be next to Wolski with Kieran Argent lining up alongside Sam Greaves. Mike Hunt will be alongside Steve Millington with your bronze pole sitter of Cherry Moore down in P11 alongside Richard Bettison, the defending bronze champion. Stardog alongside Brian Craig with Sturrock next to Flores. Tanner Kneebone lines up with Malarek, second in bronze, with Stapley third in bronze alongside Taylor. Jamie Lee will be alongside Neil Broom with Mark Tucker from Peckman, Dronelander and Simcoe, Page from Paul Williams, Privet, Mike Taylor, Phil Atherton, and then Tyler DeBlock. For some reason, lining up behind Phil Atherton and not alongside Phil Atherton. So I don't know what's gone on there, but he's at the back anyway. So we're all about to get ready to go in this race. We are back live. And Christina in the chat is cheering on the 56 of Simcoe. So great to see some new faces in the chat. Welcome all along to the broadcast. Hopefully you're all enjoying it. Post says good luck to all. Yoshi says good luck everybody. PN Trains says there's never grip for a Leach dive bomb after Tanner had said the track is now fast, less grip for a Leach to do a dive bomb. Well, it's now optimum as we've gone into the race, Langley.
Well, yeah, so he's gotten the grip, he's gotten the confidence back, he's gonna send one up the inside and we're gonna make some obscene comments about it. But we'll see here. Matt, I'm very interested in this. How tentative will the drivers be at the start of this 90-minute race?
Sorry, apologies. I was doing the poll.
We'll see. I'll be honest. I think it's going to be the same aggression as a normal race. But
yeah,
I think the difference is you have incentive to keep going because a lot can happen in a 90-minute race compared to just a 60-minute race. So
yeah. I think we spoke about it, didn't we, in the 2 fun events we did in the pre-season where they was 90 minutes. We spoke about more that driver mentality of being able to keep going for such a long race. So even though it's half an hour extra, and bearing in mind the drivers do a 20-minute sprint plus the qualifying session of 10 minutes. If you put all them together, they pretty much do 90 minutes anyway. So realistically, this is going to be interesting to see what they can do in this race. But I think you're right, Langley. I think we're going to get, the kind of normal lap 1 and the early stages of the race antics. And the thing that's going to interest me tonight is strategy. Do drivers take that tyres? Will they risk the hour and a half on no tyres? What fuel loads are drivers running in this race? We know it's a mandatory set 25-second pit stop for fuel, but every car will have to pit for a good amount of fuel. Even the Ferrari that apparently goes longest on its fuel tank will have to pit for several laps because it'll only last an hour and 10, an hour and 15 max. So it's going to be interesting to see what everybody does here. Yeah,
I'll be honest. I don't understand the risk of not taking tires in this race. And a regular 60 minutes,
yeah,
I could see it. But with it being, we're in South Africa. It's warm, much warmer than it usually is in Europe around this time of year. So I think the tire wear is going to be more worth to take new tires.
Well, it's 29 degrees track temp, and I think it's only going to get warmer as this race goes on.
Yeah, and they're lucky that it's only 29, because if it wasn't overcast, it could well be in the mid-30s track temp, probably close to 40.
Easily. Well, they round the final corner for the outlap, and let's see who's going to do what. Matt Wright says Leach for the win in the chat. A lot of the votes going the way of Sam Williams. If you haven't voted already, please do so. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as well, please do so. We're approaching that 1,200 marker of subscribers, and we are green and go. Mirko Ricci well ahead of Sam Williams coming down in towards turn 1. It already looks like that Johnson is putting Vasic under a bit of pressure. Leach looks like he's got ahead of Vasic, but he's on the outside line going into turn 1. Goes to try and swoop around the outside. Gary Leach, heck of a move that. In fact, he's got to run through the outside alongside Sam Williams to the outside of turn 2 now, through turn 3, through turn 4 they now go. Gary Leach still on that outside line.
There's a Porsche backwards in turn 3.
So we'll go down to that one in just a moment. There's a lot of yellow flags. It might be Michael Johnson because I can't see him. But Gary Leach now up the inside of turn 5 and gets ahead. He's up into second place at the start. What a start for Gary Leach in this race. And I believe you may have been right. I haven't seen Johnson come through the timing towers yet. So yes, it is Johnson who was. Oh, he's got a big amount of damage. And so does Andrew Taylor. On the front of that Porsche and that McLaren. Andrew Taylor, look at that, they cannot turn through the turn 4 bend. So Mirko Ricci leads from Gary Leach. Sam Williams now coming under pressure from Vasic in that Lexus, coming up the hill towards the top hairpin. And down the mine shaft they will go. Vasic on that inside line. Does he get the better exit over Sam Williams? Yes, he does. And we know what that Lexus can do in a straight line. He will just pull away from Sam down the mine shaft towards Crocodiles they come. Sam may think about a late lunge up the inside at Crocodiles. Has a bit of a look. Vasic gives him the room and now shuts the door. So Gary pulling away and Sam just falling backwards at the start. Who else has done well? Argent's up into 7th place. Jerry Moore stayed 11th after that start as well. Stapley is up into 2nd. Page running 3rd in the bronze category as well. But your big losers there.
Nebone, a big gainer on the first lap. Started 17th, up 7 places in one lap.
Great shout there for Tanner Nebone. Up there. Paul Williams looks like he's got a bit of damage. Brian Craig looks okay. So does Malarex Broom. That is Tyler DeBlock, who must have hit the cheater because straight round he goes. Phil Atherton goes up to 26th now. Mike Taylor, goes up into 27th. Simcoe with bad damage. Peckman bad damage. Taylor bad damage. And Johnson bad damage. We could see them 4 coming in because they are struggling already in this opening part of the race. Sam Williams is falling behind the Lexus of Vasic. Gary Leach and Mirko Ricci going well clear as well. And there's that Kieran Argent having a bit of a look. No, maybe just slightly defending from Hunt behind as the 4Q Motorsport drivers are challenging SimPlay Racing and Forever Forward Racing in this Constructors' Championship battle. Wolski's up to 5th. Good start for him, but he's trying to defend from your championship leader in silver of Sam Greaves. Who else is pretty close then? Look at this train behind Cherry Moore, Sturrock, Bettison, Stapley, all going at it in the midfield.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see what type of car is better on their tires over the stint. I would think a car like the Lexus that Vasic is in, it would be tough on its tires because it's not that good through the turns, so you have to rely on the mechanical grip a bit more. And yeah, we'll see if Sam starts to reel him back in. And honestly, he already has a little bit. I think the McLaren's just a much quicker car around here. Got a bit unlucky on the first lap, but a very long race. This is the one race where you can just reset your mind and just think about the future instead of the present.
Almost treat it as if it's an endurance race more than a 1 hour 60-minute race, as Hunt did have a look at Argent through the Crocodile but couldn't get the move done. Millington's with them, as is Tanner Nebone, who must have had a poor exit from the final corner because he was all over the back of Steve Millington. He's now got Stardog putting him under some pressure, so Keenan Stardog looking up the inside towards turn number 1 they go. And is Stardog going to have a move here? No, thinks better of it. Tucks back in behind. Stapley trying to look to the outside line of Bettison but can't do that one there. Here's Tucker as well. So Simcoe, Peckman, Taylor and Johnson all in the pit lane at the moment. They have now a lap down, it is saying, because they probably haven't crossed the start-finish line, because I believe the start-finish line is right at the end of the pit, so you can get away with pitting at the very end, but no driver's going to be able to do that here today. As let's see what is happening. Bettison still having a look then, as I believe Page has dropped down a couple of places. He's dropped down behind Bettison. Oh no, who am I thinking of here? There was another car involved in this. I can't remember who now, but yeah, either way, somebody's dropped down a little bit. Malarex, who was the fastest bronze driver in practice, down in 23rd. Neil Broom trying to get onto the back of Paul Williams, who's suffering with a bit of damage as well. And stop-go penalty. Well, to add to Michael Johnson's woes, he's got a stop-go penalty to his name. And that'll just really, really annoy him because he's had some great pace today. But with it being that half an hour longer, he can come back in this race.
Yeah, it's worth to just keep going because other drivers are going to get in incidents and other drivers are going to have slip-ups. So and you got to remember, it's 1.5 points.
Yeah.
So even though it is going to probably be your drop score at this point, you do want to maximize by continuing on in this race.
Indeed you do. Look at the front three, Langley. It's Mirko Ricci with Gary Leach right behind him, and Vasic trying to close the gap as well. Vasic has the fastest lap of the race. He's opened up his gap over Sam Williams to 1.5 seconds. And is this Gary Leach having a real tighter line into turn one? No, he's not. He tucks back in behind and thinks better of that one for the time being.
He doesn't tuck behind though.
Oh no, he tucks
under. He tucks under Richie, and now Vasic looks to the inside of Richie. Richie giving a lot of space there. I'll be honest, and yeah, Richie ran a bit wide at the exit of turn one. Gary Leach tucked under him and just held it round the outside for the inside of turn three.
Yeah, very interesting to see there, and what a move from Gary Leach. So Gary leads, and Vasic up into second place with Mirko now third. Sam Williams is in fourth, and it's Wolski, Greaves from Argent, Hunt, Millington, Tanner Kneebone from Stardog, Cherry Moores P12, your leader in bronze, Stapley second in bronze is 13th, then it's Bettis and Jamie Lee, Flores, Privet now up into third in bronze. So what has happened to Page as Sturrock is into the pits? Did Sturrock just have a disconnection? We've lost a couple of drivers, it looks like. We're down to 28.
I think shout out Stapley as well. I shouted out Tanner for a great first lap, and yeah, I think we lost someone in the top 10. I'm not sure who. Yeah, I'm not sure who. Ooh, wait, it's Sam Williams. Sam Williams gone outside the top 10.
So he's the next one who's been disconnected. So what a shame. So Sam Williams. Oh no, he's not. He's just tumbling down the order. He's rejoined. That's why he's rejoined. Jamie Lee's had a moment, so Sam Williams has had a disconnect. So has Sturrock. We're up to 28 drivers, back up to 29 now. So that was Bettison who had a disconnect as well. So he's back in. It's not a mass disconnection, because a mass disconnection, it is 25% of the original starting grid. So 32 cars. So I believe that's about 8 drivers, and we only lost. We went down to 27, so we lost 5 drivers in that one. There's 3 still not come back, but this is what I mean. Anything can happen, and this has given Johnson and Taylor and Simcoe the extra chance of scoring a few more points. We'll see if the others get back in. We are up to 29, so missing 3 other drivers.
I was going to say, I shouted out Tanner, 7 spots on the first lap. Besides, well, including the disconnection, Stapley's up 9 positions from the start, or 8 positions from the start. Was up 7 before the disconnects anyway, and he's only a second behind the bronze leader, Cherry Moore. So, not blitzing pace and quality, but off the blocks in the race. So far so good.
Oh, Privet's a little slow at the moment. Dronelander's just driven right past him, and Mark Tucker now having a look to the outside of turn number 5 is the Lamborghini on the BMW. Nothing can be done about that there. Back down, still only the 28 drivers in, so we're still missing somebody. I think Betson's had another disconnection at some point. I think Flores is another one. I'm not seeing his name appear on the list, but yeah, Privet now fending off that of Tucker. Kieran Argent closing in a little bit more on Sam Greaves, but he's got Hunt right behind him. This is what Hunt can see from his point of view. This is on the dashboard camera of Mike Hunt's car. And Gary, fastest lap of the race now. So Gary Leach getting on with it here.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who all disconnected, because I do see we're at 29 now, and I was trying to figure out who else disconnected.
Beto's
but
just DC'd in the chat, not coming back, he says. So I think he's got in once and then been disconnected again, so that's a shame for him. In fact, I will be able to tell you who's been disconnected actually if I look at the bottom of this list. So Michael Johnson's there, Simcoe's there. Is Phil Atherton there? I've not yet. He's there. We'll give it a few laps before that one sorts itself out as the drivers go through. But we know Bettison's one. De Block still in as well. Flores is another, because I've not seen Flores.
Sam was one as well. I don't know if Peckman was one or not.
No, Peckman had damage at the start. So this is still on board with Hunt, looking on the back of Argent.
But I do see the likes of Andy, which is Sam's teammate, and he's behind. He's barely in front of them. So I have no idea. I'm not sure how many actually got disconnected.
Well, 4 was in the pits with damage at the start.
Yes, that's the difficult part, is who had damage, like Michael Johnson, and who got disconnected. That's the difficult part.
Page has been disconnected as well. And Page has got work right after the race. So he's going to have to miss this one, so it won't count as a qualifying ban. But that's Page and Bettison who have had a disconnection, so they're not coming back, sadly. in this race. And again, Flores, I cannot see. So we'll keep our eyes on this then. But look at Cherry Moore and Stapley here. They're gaining on this Tanner Kneebone Keenan Stardog battle at the moment.
Yeah, and Stapley's gaining on Cherry Moore, and that's the most impressive thing. I don't know if he's on lighter fuel or not. I haven't looked at it, but Cherry Moore has shown very impressive pace for bronze class over the past 2 races, and Stapley making a charge at him, saying, I want to be at the front of this bronze class. And I'd like to also point out Kieran Argent in a 4Q Motorsport sandwich right now, trying to get on the back of Sam Greaves, but also under attack from Hunt from behind. A little wiggly out of turn 1, shades the inside to discourage a dive from Hunt, but yet all over the back of Argent now is Hunt. Could he have a look into this fast right-hander? I don't think so. It'd be silly to stick a nose in there.
I think Mirko made a mistake. I saw the gravel kick up while we was watching the Hunt, Argent and Greaves fight, but Mirko kicked up a bit of gravel very slow, and that's allowed Wolski up into P3 now. So Wolski's on the podium. Vasic has taken the fastest lap back, and he's now within 6/10 of Gary Leach. But yeah, a 4Q sandwich for Kieran Argent to deal with at the moment. Stardog has now got Cherry Moore closer to him than what he is to Tanner Kneebone. So Cherry Moore, I tell you what, this could be brilliant for the bronze category with Stapley coming in. He's only missed the first 2 weeks of the season, theoretically. So, you know, points on the board here. Could he be another one to try and challenge Cherry Moore and Page in this championship?
Yeah, exactly. And to point out the fact that it's a 1.5 times race. And so he'll get 1 drop score from the first 2 rounds, obviously. But would he? Would he get would one of his drop scores be the first 2 rounds? Or not? No, it wouldn't be, because he wasn't in the championship yet. But to his benefit, Cherry Moore, one of those first 2 rounds would be his drop score, probably his first round, because last race was very strong, and this one looks very strong as it's going right now. I think for the bronze class, they could have the most swing in terms of the championship, because the bronze class, and this also goes for the gold class and pro, they start at the back for the sprint race, and it can be difficult in the sprint race sometimes, and you make up for it in the main, or you have a good sprint and then a bad main race. If you have a good race this weekend, as I say that, Stardog's looking for a move on Tanner, who's defending the inside of this next fast right-hander. I don't think the Porsche will be able to make it stick around there, and it doesn't. But will he have a run back out of him out the exit of this corner? Nope, not close enough there. But as I was saying, if you just have a good race as one of these gold or bronze drivers in both categories, then you can gain a lot of points. Like right now, Cherry Moore's 10th. That's basically, in theory, 10th in both races. If it were a sprint and feature weekend. So he's already getting maximum points gain out of that.
So I can tell you, I've just been doing a bit of digging. Simcoe gone, Page gone, Paul Williams gone, Brian Craig I also cannot see, as Cherry Moore's had a problem, and that's going to allow Stapley to take the lead in the bronze category. They've got Johnson, who has set the fastest lap of the race, about to unlap himself. So he's only an extra lap down. He's only 1 lap down to Peckman, Privet, Sturrock and Taylor. In fact, no, he's not. He's probably on the same lap of them, because they have crossed the line already. So he's only 1 lap down to these guys at the moment. So it's not too bad. And if he unlaps himself, he's only a lap down to the top 11. So it's not too bad for Johnson, fastest man on track. But we have lost Simcoe, Page, Williams, Brian Craig and Richard Betterson. They are the people who have had the disconnections. And we are now down to actually 26. It looks like Sam Williams has gone again.
Can you read that off again?
Simcoe, Page, Paul Williams, Brian Craig, Richard Betterson, and it looks like Sam Williams has just had another disconnection, because he's gone.
Well, because Sam Williams would make that 7.
Yeah, he was just he was just on the timing tower as I was saying that, because Johnson is now last. He was just there, but Sam Williams now makes that 7. So 1 more, it would class as a mass disconnect, but at the moment it isn't. And look at Vasic all over the back of Gary Leach. That's a yellow flag for some reason. Who is that? Is that the 53 of Phil Atherton? It is
Privet.
Not the 53. It's Privet who's had a moment then. He's parked up on the outside, so not sure what's happening to Privet. But Vasic putting pressure on Gary Leach in the lead of this race at the moment. And the front 2 really going at it. They have dropped Wolski by 6 seconds, bearing in mind And they are continuing on their way at this moment in time. Sam Williams is back into the race.
Oh, sorry. I thought Stardog had gotten by Nebo, and I was wrong there.
Wolski has got Mirko Ricci for company. Argent and Hunt are still battling it out with Sam Greaves as well. Then it's Kneebone and Stardog. Stapley 1.8 behind them, but the lead of this race getting interesting. Fight between Tucker and Malarex. This is for the podium in bronze, because this will be for third place in the bronze category. And Sam Williams has got himself back in. Johnson has now got ahead of Privet, and that is why it is so important to keep going in this race, as there is a car in the wall. And was that Cherry Moore? It is Cherry Moore with huge damage on the car. He's returned to the pit lane. The bronze, with Page missing tonight, it was all for Cherry Moore to score some really big points, but that has just gone down the drain for him, because he's now going to tumble to the back of the pack with big damage.
And this is what I mean. Like, Stapley not been in this championship until tonight. 1.5 points in 10th place. That's massive. And it absolutely propels him toward the front in this championship.
Yeah, it could really do. And if he's got this kind of pace, can he carry it through for the rest of the season to propel him towards the front a bit more? Steve Millington attacking the back of Diego Flores, who I thought had been disconnected because I couldn't see his name, but he hasn't. He is still there. So this will be an interesting to see what happens. But Steve so far just stuck behind him at the moment. Malarex still on the back of Tucker as well in this race.
This third through seventh gap is they're all very close to each other, all within a second. The top two have checked out, of Leach and Vasich, and they're in a world of their own right now to fight out this win, and they have free choice of whether they want to take tires, not take tires. Not going to make much of a difference.
Phil Atherton, for some reason, took dramatic avoiding action of Wolski there when he didn't really need to, and I thought he was going to spin back onto the circuit in the path of Wolski or Mirko. Where's Hunt? He's right under... No wonder I couldn't see Hunt as he was coming through the corner. The camera didn't pick him up. He's that close to Argent. Looks up the inside of Kieran Argent now, though. This is for P6 and 7. Hunt gets a great run, but so does Argent. Argent may have just picked up a track limit warning, though, for extending the limits outside the circuit, and manages to carry on in front of Hunt. Kneebone has got Stardog right behind him once more. They've started to pull away from Stapley, and look at Stapley. He's got Michael Johnson, who is allowed to unlap himself in this race, right on the back of him. Sam Williams still in the pits. He's obviously got a 2-minute wait time before he can get back in this race. Disastrous for Sam Williams, but what a time for drop scores to come into play, because it won't really matter, I suppose, because this will probably be that drop score.
He's so unlucky. Like, I've not seen a more unlucky driver. Now sometimes he has mistakes he makes, but I've not seen a more unlucky driver on the grid over the past 2 seasons. Someone who's arguably gold pace in this championship, and he's had wheel issues, he's had disconnect issues, he's had fuel issues. Wink, wink. It seems like something new every week.
It does indeed for him, as this is on board.
And this one is borderline cruel.
Yeah.
Because, like, he was up there, top 3, 90-minute race, still 70 minutes to go, and he's continually getting disconnected now because the servers are amazing game, by the way.
Yeah, great game, but great game with great development potential. But this is what we're stuck with on console for the time being. So at the moment, this is what we've got to deal with, and this is now Hunt still attacking the back of Argent. Not a great run through that final corner. Stardog still attacking the back of Nebo. Millington still attacking that of Flores. We've got Malarex, who's got ahead of Tucker and has just started to open that gap up a little bit there. Sam's now out the pits, but he's 3 laps down to Privet in this race. Johnson is 27 seconds off the back of Andrew Taylor, by the way, but Johnson still is the fastest man out on track at the moment. And with Taylor and Peckman and Privet doing their pit stops this early, I think they're going to still have to pit at the end of this race. So they may be in for a second stop later on. And this is the problem. They've had early damage. They've got the pit stop out of the way. I'd have turned the fuel off and saved 25 seconds, personally. And I'd have just repaired the damage on lap 1. But they've obviously refueled again and trying to go as long as they can in this race. They're going to have to splash and dash at the very end, you'd imagine. And let's see what happens here for these drivers in this race then, as we can clearly see Steve Millington putting the pressure on Flores. Gary Leach has opened that gap back up to a second to Vasic. So just ebbing and flowing between the front two at the moment. And the closest fight so far is this one of Tanner Kneebone and Keenan Stardog. Brilliant battle in this race at the moment. And we've just had it caught quite enough. I don't think it's been as hectic as we expected, Langley.
No, I think it's quite tame, and Stardog looks much faster than Kneebone at this point in the race, but the Porsche is one of the worst cars in a straight line, and although there's a lot of traction zones on this track that favor the Porsche, it is just very difficult to overtake when you don't have the top speed needed. And the BM.
Oh, that is Vasic. Sorry,
line.
Langley. Vasic. I was just watching Mirko Ricci closing on Wolski, and I think Vasic must have hit Cheetah.
Oh.
He's just tapped Kieran Argent up the rear. Vasic doesn't look like he's got any damage, so possibly just a spin. But he's dropped down now behind Kieran Argent and Hunt, so he's down into 7th place. And now Gary Leach has an 8.7 second lead over Wolski in this race. Gary must think it's Christmas come early.
It has to be Christmas come early because 9 seconds clear. Yeah, let's keep our mouth shut because last week he was quite far and away, or I keep saying last week, last race, around Brands. I think we can both agree was the quickest car. And to be fair, it was wet, so different set of circumstances.
There you go, Stardog. Sorry, Langley, just looking to the outside of turn 5 on Kneebone, but that's a bit of a wiggle. Mid-corner did Kneebone there, did Stardog there. And look, all of a sudden, Michael Johnson is about to unlap himself from now P9, Keenan Stardog, and he's got a good train of cars in front of him until he gets to Gary Leach. So Johnson here trying to work his way back onto the lead lap in this race.
Yeah, it's unlucky for Johnson as well because you see this pace. He's definitely got this top 5 pace. He's much quicker than the cars that he's around, and for him it wasn't a disconnect. He got turned around on the first lap, was facing the wrong way through turn 3, and because yellow flags aren't a thing that you slow down for in sim racing, as he looks to the inside of Stardog, he basically had a head-on collision.
Matt Wright saying in the chat, BMW looking strong. I bet I can change that tomorrow night. And, well, how strong does the BMW look? 8th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 2nd, 1st. The only BMW outside that is Privet, who was off earlier on, down in 25th place. So, yes, the BMW is looking rather strong here tonight. Look at this fight. Kieran Argent. Sam Greaves has checked out from these 3 as well now. But Kieran Argent, Hunt and Vasic. Vasic looking to the inside of Hunt. A little late move there, but Vasic can't get it done. Kieran Argent's gone very wide off of track. They're nearly 3 wide through turn 2. In towards turn 3 now. And Kieran manages to somehow stay ahead of all 3 of them. He was very slow through turn 4 there, was Kieran Argent. That's delayed Hunt's progress, as now Vasic comes to the outside line of the BMW in towards turn 5. There you go. And Vasic will tuck back in behind. Tanner Kneebone still under pressure from Keenan Stardog. Gary's got 9.5 seconds to Wolski, who's got a bit of pressure from that of Mirko Ricci. Tanner Kneebone defends from Keenan Stardog there. There is Wolski defending from Mirko Ricci at the moment. So not quite defending, but he's just making sure he takes his lines perfectly from Mirko Ricci so far. Doesn't want any mishaps in that car. And yeah, what a start to this race. It just feels like it's getting a bit more lively. The thing I want to notice, Langley, though, we're used to seeing Pro-Am drivers in these kind of gaps looking for their moves a bit more. Here, a lot more patient from them all.
Yeah, a lot more patient. I think Vasic is going to have a good chance at Hunt on this lap. The Lexus with the overspeed. Is he going to have a look down the inside? Not as good on the brakes. And yeah, Hunt stays ahead for the time being, but does go a little wide, which makes him slip back into the clutches of Vasic just a little bit more. I think let's keep an eye on this down the main straight here. He's just within a couple tenths, and there's a spinner in the background, Johnson. And I think that is, again, Johnson. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, and the Porsche, that is a bad car to hit the Cheetah in as well. And here comes Vasic, overspeed in the Lexus, gonna have a look at Hunt down the inside of with the Lexus. Hunt goes very deep and fends off Vasic. Vasic not brave enough on the brakes there. Looks quicker, has been a driver to set the fastest lap in this race, but we'll see if he can get Hunt here. I think the opportunity's coming.
This is what Kieran needs, though. He needs somebody to attack the back of Hunt. As here he goes up the inside of turn 5. Vasic in the Lexus. Hunt has already got half a car in front coming through the exit of turn 5, so it'll give him the inside line for 6, and that should keep Hunt ahead. But this is what Argent will be wanting here. These two to start fighting so he can just pull away. Because look, Kneebone and Stardog are gaining on Vasic and Hunt in this one. And I'm just looking at the current fuel loads in this race, and I must say, I'm very surprised that a few of the drivers have gone as heavy as they have. I'm not going to name names, but yeah, it's interesting to see the strategies being played out here. We have no idea when people are going to be pitting. In that 60-minute race, you kind of know it's going to be as close to that 30-minute mark as possible. With this, we just don't know.
Yeah, you would assume it's the 45-minute mark, but with tires being more exaggerated in this race, we'll see it play out.
So at Nevo now, just pulling away from Stardog a little bit. Where did Johnson drop down behind? He went behind Millington, so he's now got the top 12 to unlap himself from. So he's still in this race to pick up places. You get the feeling that things could happen here. Andrew Taylor has just been lapped by the race leader of Gary Leach, who's got over a 10-second lead to this man.
Oh, I think Vasic has got by Hunt. I don't know if Hunt made a mistake, but Kneebone's now having a look. Yeah, he must have. And Hunt bends to the inside, swipes across the nose of Kneebone. Hunt laid on the brakes on the inside. Can Kneebone hold it round the outside? This is going to also open the door for Stardog. Is he going to have a look on Kneebone or anything? The difficult part about this, and when Kneebone goes wide, and Stardog up the inside, but did Stardog get a bit loose the exit of that corner? He did. He lost the rear end.
Rear end just came out a little bit. It kicked itself out, and he couldn't get past there. Mark Tucker coming under pressure now for third place in the bronze category by Neil Broom, who took a good podium in the GT4s last night. Where is we're down to 26. Has Cherry Moore retired from this race? He may have done, you know. I think we've lost Cherry Moore. I'm only seeing the Mercedes-Benz of Sturrock because Phil Atherton is into the pit. So Cherry Moore, DNF here then. What a shame for him. Let's hope that wasn't internet connections as well. But yeah, Cherry Moore out of this race. So the top 2 in bronze, not scoring points. And where's Peckman in all of this? He's 20th, but he's going to be outscoring the other 2.
I was saying, if you remember, Hunt at one point was right up the back of Argent.
Yeah.
And was having trouble overtaking him. The issue is, when you are in the same car, such as now Kneebone on Hunt, they're both in the BMW, having a similar car just makes it very difficult to overtake in general. Now, the reason, I think Vasic was overall a little bit quicker than Hunt, but luckily for him, he's in that Lexus. And I think Argent made a mistake out the final corner. Now Vasic right on the back of him. Is he going to have a look into this turn 1? I think he's a bit far back this time.
Yeah, Gary's 9.7 in the lead, so Wolski's just pulled that gap back down a little bit there. But a great start to this race for all of these drivers, and oh, what a day, what a race. And 53 stop-go penalty, DJ Phil. He's done his pit stop, and he's picked up a stop-go penalty. And look, Michael Johnson, because he's on the lead lap, but all the first 12 cars, has managed to get ahead of Phil Atherton in this race.
Vasic, a great run out of that turn. Argent defends the middle of the track, though, makes Vasic pick a side. He chooses the outside. Not going to make it work around that right-hander, but all over the back of Arg now. And, yeah, I think the Lexus, it'll have it coming. He has the benefit of the straight line speed.
Yeah, I think he does, and Argent's got to be very clever here in terms of his defence at the final corner, because you get the feeling it's the main straight, possibly down out of this hairpin here, down the mine shaft of where Vasic could look on Argent, but that left-hand kink down this section is what could help the BMW over that Lexus. Tyler de Block into the pits now as well. So what will Tyler de Block do? But this could also help out Michael Johnson gain time over Tyler. So interesting to see at this moment. And this is the fight of Kieran Argent and Vasic. Vasic to the outside line. Kieran holds that middle of the circuit as Vasic just gave him a little kiss up the bumper there.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what Vasic wanted. He wanted Arch to go defensive, because I don't think he wanted to make a move there, but on this main straight. But as I say that, he goes a little wide in the Cheetah, and he loses that time he gains, and then immediately after that, Arch goes wide in the final corner. And even though the gap looks about 4/10 right now, that Lexus is going to have a lot of straight line speed and the slipstream, but not this lap to be.
Not this lap to be, and Vasic will have to wait once again, but look how close he got to the rear of Argent into turn 1. Gary's opened that gap back up to 10.5 seconds to Wolski. Gary's on another level. I believe Gary may have won a race here before. I think he does go well, and Kieran Argent's made his own little mistake. Well saved from Kieran Argent, but a slide, and that has now allowed Hunt to get through. Hunt and Argent with a bit of hip and shoulder between each other. There's a bit of lag there for Kieran Argent, and he flashes the lights to Hunt for momentarily. But yeah, Argent not happy with that one. And I think that was
server's lagging.
Yeah, I think that was more a little bit of lag than anything else. And the server is. Oh, we're down to 23 drivers. We are down to 23 drivers.
You see these cars going sideways through the corner, right? Yeah, okay, it's not... So, yeah, oh my god. Stupid game. Oh my gosh.
We're down to 21 drivers now. This is now a mass disconnection, if you ask me. This is really sort of becoming a bit of an issue here tonight. With the lag of this server, we are down to 23, and yeah,
I can keep
Sam
chatting
Greaves
on this fight.
Sam Greaves was one of them. Yeah, I'm going to go to the. I'm going to stick on this Hunt and Argent fight, but you keep chatting, and I'll see what's happening.
Stardog also just yeah, we're in that range. Andy Taylor again. Yeah, they're all in the pit lane. Yeah, so I can keep chatting on this fight, and if you want to go talk to the admin team about if we restart or not. But unfortunately, that has put a damper on that fight just a little bit. All the gaps, unfortunately, as well, have kind of mellowed out a little bit. This lag, we apologize for the lag we're having tonight. The closest fight on track right now actually seems to be Neil Broom on Tucker in 13th and 14th. Other than that, Hunt is, well, Argent's also says 6/10 behind Hunt, but unfortunately this lag has almost killed the racing tonight, and we very much do apologize. It looks like that's Vasic lapping a car of DJ Phil. Vasic up in 4th, but yeah. We'll see what happens, because... Oh, and a big incident behind! I think that was Hunt spinning around and Argent being collected in it. Was it Hunt, or was it... Yeah, it was Hunt. Hunt spun and Argent was collected in it, and they both have pretty big damage now. And Arg straight into the pits to repair that damage if we do continue this one. Yeah, it looked like Hunt lost it at the hairpin there, and then Arg's just a bystander and got collected in it. Another yellow flag at turn 1. That looked like it was DJ Phil again, just getting out of the way of other drivers. Richie's been maintaining about this 1 second gap behind Wolski pretty consistently. Leach, though, 11 seconds out in the lead, and has been extending in total control of this race. Still yet to know if we're going to restart or not. We will see. Unfortunately, the lag has been terrible tonight, and drivers just victims of disconnects. So we will see. If not, we'll take count back from a certain lap and restart with 55 minutes. And I'd assume everyone still would have to make a mandatory pit stop from those positions. But yeah, if all, we still might have some very entertaining racing tonight if the pack gets bunched up from a server restart. Looking right now, I am at Kneebone and Argent, or Kneebone and Hunt going through the final corner right now. Seems to be the closest fight on track, bar Neil Broom and Tucker, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, Hunt now has damage from that incident he had. Spun and Arj collected him in the hairpin after the crocodile and before the cheetah. So we will see if Kneebone can do anything if he can get a nose up the inside of Hunt. Flores also in 8th now with all the disconnects. Just 8/10 behind Stapley, who has been your bronze leader ever since Cherry Moore had his spin and incident. As Tanner's still 7/10 or so behind Hunt. The gap's kind of mellowing out. A name we haven't mentioned much tonight, but it is still going out there. Steve Millington, 6/10 behind Dronelander. Dronelander looks to have a little bit of damage on that Ferrari. Millington very close to the Ferrari of Dronelander. Can he make a move into this hairpin? Up the hill, coming around the left-hander into the left-hand hairpin. He sticks behind for now. Dronelander a little bit deep, but not too deep, and they both get a pretty decent exit out that corner, heading through the crocodile into the hairpin. Keeping an eye on Kneebone as well in this fight between Flores and Stapley. Flores just 3/10. It looks much closer to that on the actual stream now, tucked right under the back of Stapley onto this main straight. Is he going to have the opportunity to make a move? In the slipstream of Stapley, he looks to the inside. Later on the brakes, can he get to that apex first? Stapley tries to hold it around the outside, and it looks like he will. He does hold it out around the outside well, and keeps that position from now. Looking back, can Millington do anything on Dronelander? No, just too far back this time.
Okay, we've just been told, we've just discussed it, but we are going to leave it as it is. We cannot find the full grid order, so it would be unfair for the drivers who are at the back of the grid to be out of position from where they was. So we are going to leave it as it is. So Stapley stays where he is. So we are down now to a 25-car race. I believe Sam Williams may have also called it today on the disconnects. It's Andrew Taylor is now last, but if you think of Michael Johnson, who was 27th or 28th, a couple of about 10-15 minutes ago, he's now running 20th place. Sam Greaves is back in. He's in 19th. He's the biggest loser out of all of this by having that disconnect. So the servers just not playing ball tonight, and they are all over the place at the moment. We've got to get to half distance. So if we get to another 5 minutes, it will be, I suppose, just regular points for the drivers from what they should be normally, due to the fact that we have covered half the distances. The servers have been just faulty and temperamental all evening long, so we can only apologise to the drivers who have suffered with disconnections in this race. But your running order with 25 cars left in this one, it is Gary Leach 13.5 seconds clear of Wolski, who's now got 2 seconds over Mirko Ricci. He's 4.9 clear of Vasic, from then Hunt, then Kneebone. Stapley, your bronze leader, is up into 7th. Johnson, who is 20th, is only a lap down to the top 7 now, so not too bad for him. Then comes Flores, Dronelander, Millington. Malarex is 2nd in bronze from Tucker in 3rd. Then it's Neil Broom, Jamie Lee, Kieran Argent, after he's done his pit stop, is down in 15th place. The bonus for drivers, I suppose, Langley, if they pit at that hour mark, they know they can get to the end of the race on a full tank of fuel. So if they do end up making that pit stop, they are guaranteed to get to the end of the race at least.
Yeah, that is true. We are in the pit window right now, and Kneebone is all over the back of Hunt, and Hunt goes very deep on the brakes, and they are now side by side down the hill. Kneebone tucks back into that slipstream. gonna want to try to make a move into this hairpin. He's a little far back now, but might set it up. That's a bit of moving under braking and a dodgy defending there. Just very late move to the inside. It's a reactionary move from Hunt.
Johnson, I've just noticed in the background as well, has unlapped himself now from Stapley. So that puts him up into the top 6. So Stapley's pitted then from 7th place in the lead of bronze. This will just basically put Johnson, he's got to pit again because he hasn't done his mandatory pit stop. This will help Johnson gain a few places in this race. But so far, yeah, we are going to carry on. So we are sorry to the drivers who have suffered with the disconnections. Andrew Taylor is still on the same lap as... well, Taylor's just unlapped himself from Privet. Privet's struggling tonight. Phil Atherton might unlap himself from Privet. And Taylor's down in 25th. Taylor making his first race of the season due to internet problems. But Hunt, even with the damage to the front of that car, Tan and Ebone just cannot get past Hunt in this race.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there are some close fights on track right now. Like Millington's not that far behind Dronelander. I pointed out Broom's not that far behind Tucker, but ooh, Kneebone looks up the inside. I just went back to that fight. Kneebone up the inside of Hunt. He's gonna have the inside for this next left-hander, and he gets the job done.
He does get the job done. So Nebo moves up into 5th place, Hunt down into 6th, and Johnson's right on the back of these two to unlap himself and be a lap down to only the top 4 in this race. Johnson still has the fastest lap of the race, let's not forget. So this is going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on in this race. Sturrock is in the pit. So Sturrock... Oh no, it's Cherry Moore, sorry, that I was missing the Mercedes-Benz. So Sturrock into the pits, and let's see what this will be as this race goes on. We have got then, like you said, Millington and Dronelander close together, Tucker and Broom within a second for that podium in bronze, and this is now for a net 3rd place, but 2nd place on the road at the moment as Tucker's gone very deep onto the grass. He goes, is this Neil Broom's chance? And he gets through. So when after the pit stops have all played themselves out, Stapley, by the way, got ahead of Argent out the pit. So whatever Argent's damage was, it's put him behind Stapley by a good margin.
And Hunt also in the pits.
Yeah, that's clearly got to be for the damage. Dronelander also comes in as well. And now Steve Millington will put a lap on Tyler de Block. And Steve will move up into P7 net at the moment. Gary Leach so out front by 15.6 seconds. And a stop-go penalty for Sturrock in this race. What a shame.
But, yeah, what I was going to say before that fight between Kneebone and Hunt, it puts a real bummer on the night because some of the racing has now been doled out. I mean, think of the names that got taken out the top 10. Greaves, you had Williams taken out the top 10. And just all the way up and down the field, everyone that got affected by that, it's kind of dulled out the racing. The gaps have increased between the cars, and it's just unfortunate. I think this 90-minute race really works, and I think Kyalami was a great track to try it out on. Next 90-minute race is Indianapolis, and home race for me, home race for Kneebone. But yeah, I think the 90-minute race works. So we apologize for the connection issues, server issues, and lag issues tonight because it's put a real damper on this race, if I do say so myself.
It really has, hasn't it? It's we was all looking forward to this one, and obviously due to the electrical issues at home previous weeks, Dronelander's jumped ahead of Stapley.
And Richie's pitted as well.
Dronelander hasn't jumped ahead of Stapley, and Dronelander's got damage. Did Argent didn't get past Dronelander from the pit stop, so Argent's damage must have been huge as Flores is now onto the back of Tanner and Ebone. Michael Johnson has unlapped himself from Tanner. So has Tanner made a mistake somewhere? Because I tell you what, Michael Johnson is flying in this race.
He is flying, and very unlucky. He's gotten a little lucky in terms of the other disconnects. He's gotten unlucky in the terms of his crash. But I'll tell you what, look, Stardog absolutely flying now. He was one of the ones that he was right on the back of Kneebone. He got a disconnect. Back out on track, boom, fastest lap.
And he's, this was for position before the disconnect. So
yeah, exactly.
He's another one who's fell foul of it. Langley forgot Jimenez for his home race as well. So yeah, there you go. You forgot Jimenez.
Sorry, forgot about that. It's been 3 weeks. Give me a break.
Been 3 weeks. We're 2 weeks off, and then we come back and we get server issues. You just got to love it, haven't you? So the only fight really on circuit at the moment is this between Tan and Ebone and Diego Flores. Flores trying to close in on Tanner, and this will be Stardog trying to unlap himself from these guys. Neil Broom is now into the pits, so Stapley gets back ahead of him. Stop go cleared for Sturrock in this race. Hunt now P11. Hunt came out well clear of Argent. Argent is so far behind Dronelander. Dronelander's into turn 1. Argent's not even, he's only just crossed the line, so he's 11 seconds
I wonder if he
behind.
made a mistake.
Well, he had the damage, didn't he? It must have been a lot more damage than what it looked. Had to have been.
Had to have been, because that is a sizable gap.
Jimenez saying, although
Well, to be fair, if we look, and this is what I don't understand in a longer race like this, Hunt did not repair his damage.
Really?
So, if you look at Hunt right now, his hood's still flapping. I don't understand that. You still have 45 minutes. I feel like if it's 20 seconds or so worth of damage, you make up that 20 seconds by repairing it.
Yeah,
because you're
100%.
losing about half a second to a second a lap, especially with damage that sizable. So, yeah, I would have repaired that. I mean, I don't know how much damage it was. If it was a minute's worth of damage, you're getting to the point where, to be fair, it was Hunt. It was Hunt's fault. It was a racing incident. It was just unlucky for Kieran because Hunt spun,
yeah,
and then Kieran just got collected in the background there. So, yeah, we'll see how that plays out. I mean, it's a good benchmark to keep an eye on whether if it was worth to repair the damage or not. But if you also remember, Arch dipped into the pits first, so maybe his damage was much worse than Hunt's, because Hunt was sideways when he got hit. Kieran took a head-on collision, so it probably was a bit more than Hunt's, actually.
Oh, Steve Millington's got past Dronelander through the pit stop, so Steve Millington moves up a place there then, ahead of Dronelander. Stapley says he's in within a tenth of a second of Steve Millington, but he's actually ahead when he comes through the first sector, not by a lot. And I've just been looking at the timing tower. Johnson's actually a lap down. He's gone off again at the cheater as Michael Johnson, so not the night for Michael Johnson that he'd have been wanting. The spin at turn 1, I don't think he's had a disconnect, but yeah, what a shame for him in this race so far. And yeah, not a good night at all for him, and he'll be gutted because he had some real good pace tonight.
Yeah, and I'm interested. I'm actually curious why more people haven't taken this strategy that Kneebone, Flores, Vasich now pitting, and that's almost right at the halfway point. I would have thought some drivers or more drivers would have run longer, like these two are up front that haven't disconnected. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for them, but unfortunately for the rest of the field. What I mean by that is I wish there was more of a split between strategy.
Yeah.
More drivers are just pitting early rather than going long. And now I do think Kneebone's going to get jumped by a few, but you're on lighter fuel at this point, and lighter fuel is massive in this game. It's seconds
It really is.
throughout a lap at some point. So, yeah, I would have thought some drivers would run longer, and then not only do you have the tire offset, you have fresher tires, and you're on the same fuel load. So I think there's more benefits than disadvantages, but I will say it is a disadvantage if you continue to fight other cars around you rather than just try to put the best laps in possible, and that might be what Kneebone and Flores fall foul to if they keep fighting here.
Well, let's see what's going to happen in this race. This is Hunt. Flores is on the back of Kneebone, and Gary Leach came out 24 seconds off the back of these two, so he will easily take back control of this race lead. Tucker is your bronze leader currently. Stapley Slout on circuit. He's done his pit stop. Tucker has not at the moment. Tucker's had a really good display tonight. I think Tucker's been another one to watch tonight. He's been really, really good, as that looked like an
It's been very consistent, very consistent, and if you haven't disconnected at this point, consider yourself a little lucky. But I mean, think of it in the real world. Sometimes you get collected in a pileup, nothing that you could have done. Sometimes you get a brake issue. Sometimes you get an engine issue. I mean, that's just the give and take we get in real life, and taking that over to the virtual world, sometimes you have connection issues. It's all about a bit of part of racing. Yes, it is a bummer sometimes, and it does take the fun out of it every now and again. But it is life, and it is racing, and it's why we hate it. It's why we love it.
I suppose the only thing the drivers can take from this is drop scores are reflected on the championships this week. So, you know, it won't look too bad because of that drop scores. And you've got to think, it's not like it's the normal points where it's 85 for 2 race wins, right? So that's what, 190 points near enough, 170 points, sorry, nearly enough. So you're only going to score times 1.5 more than what you'd have got for that race win tonight. You're not going to score nowhere near as much as you would if you took 2 race wins on a normal one. So it's not like it's massive difference in the points, if you know what I mean. There as Tanner misses the cheetah by a mile, flips the grass a little bit. We're on board with Flores. Flores decides to bring it into the pit lane, back down to Millington, as he had dropped behind Dronelander. He's back in front of him now. Dronelander looks like he's got a bit more damage. Malarex is right with these two as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. What do the drivers actually get for a race win tonight? Let's take a look. So a race win tonight is 127.5 points, right? If you take a double race win, let me do it somewhere else. That's 85 plus 85. That's 170. So yeah, so you're losing 42.5 points.
Yeah, this is also what I mean by it. I think the bronze is going to shift a lot.
Yeah.
Because the bronze drivers tend to not get that opportunity for a race win in race 1. They'll be finishing mid-pack because they're starting behind all the silvers. So if you're someone like Stapley right now, who is running, I think, a net P8 after Jamie Lee pits, where did he come from? He wasn't even on the grid, by the way, or the starter list, so he must have joined eventually. But it's going to be a big jump for him because it's an overall 8th. You don't have to worry about race 1, race 2. It's
Johnson's
8th
off at the
place.
cheetah again.
And then, oh my gosh.
When it rains, it pours.
That's not even strike 3. Yeah, well, it's kind of dry out there for it to be pouring.
Yeah. It's just a shame because he had such good pace.
We gotta make a little bit of banner tonight because the server's just
Malarex looking up the inside of Dronelander. Dronelander's had to go wide at turn 1, and is Malarex fully through now? He's not quite, but he'll have that inside line for 3 and 4. Avoids that sausage curb at turn 3, can be quite nasty. And Malarex past Dronelander, second place in bronze at the moment for Malarex, and he's just putting on a good job, a good show at the moment. Is the driver in the bronze category for the Vanguard race team, who's moved up to P11.
Looks like he has more damage.
Yeah, I thought that.
Than, because I know he had damage, but it looks like he has even more.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, like a bigger gap in the hood and a more messed up front end. So, yeah, the likes of Stapley, Malarex, I mean, Tucker's on for a podium right now. So, great points for them tonight, and that'll help them in their championship fights.
Really will. Gary Leach is into turn 1. Wolski's 10.5 seconds behind, so Wolski's actually caught Gary after the pit stops. Kneebone's still going here. Stardog has unlapped himself from Tanner.
I would definitely pit soon now, because you're getting to that point where it's been almost 15-ish minutes since the first group of cars pitted.
They've been going for 54 minutes, has Tanner Kneebone and Jamie Lee. So you've got to be thinking of getting a pit stop done sooner rather than later. Stardog, though, is now a lap down to Tanner Kneebone, as Dronelander is into the pit lane. So that'll give Kieran Argent another place, and potentially Tucker and Broom, who are running 2nd and 3rd in the bronze category. So, yeah, Peckman may unlap it. Peckman may go then onto the same lap as Dronelander, who's into the pits for, like we said, that second time. Richie is 2 seconds off the back of Wolski.
Here he comes.
Got Phil Atherton. Here, who comes?
Tanner Kneebone in the pits. Yeah.
So Tanner now in. So this will allow this man, Gary Leach, to take back the race lead, and I assume Wolski and Richie. This could be interesting to see where Tanner will come out in this race, because he's gone so much longer. He was fighting Hunt, wasn't he? Just got ahead of Hunt just before the round of pit stop. Has he done enough to stay in front of Hunt?
I don't know what happened there, but I was watching him on pit entry. I don't know if he forgot to set something or forgot to put enough fuel because he literally stopped at the start of the pit lane and then got going again. So I can only assume he messed something up on his strategy
so that's just
page.
going to add a few more seconds to Tanner Kneebone's pit stop time then, as everybody you can see getting past him. There goes Vasic. Tanner's just gone green, so he's going to go away now as Hunt is coming to the final corner. Jamie Lee still yet to pit, fighting with Hunt here. And Tanner, when will he be off that pit lane limiter? 207, stop-go penalty. Speeding in the pits, that is Mike Taylor. And Tanner Kneebone is off the limiter. And is he? He is, yeah, clearly.
Hunt is by him, yeah. And I think that was just from him having to stop in the pit lane.
Well, you think that couple of seconds it took him to stop is what he's behind Hunt, and Hunt has just got past Jamie Lee at turn number 1. So now that's put Jamie Lee, who's fighting for position at the moment. Yes, he's not pitted, as we've got, by the way, Malarex. Steve Millington's got some damage on his car, and Malarex is gaining on Millington now. So for Steve Millington, he's coming under pressure from the second place driver in bronze. And that looked like Mike Taylor had just had a moment. He's got a stop go to his name as well. And that puts Andrew Taylor up into 23rd position in this race at the moment then.
Yeah, I think his overcut worked. I really do. And whatever mistake he made on the dash for his pit stop, which is what I can only guess, because he fully came to a stop and then got going again. I thought he was having trouble with the left-hander in the pit lane, because it is quite a tight left-hander at this track. I thought he was having trouble, but no, he stopped, and then I was just confused for a second. It fully stopped for 2-3 seconds and then got going, and if you look at the gap, it's only about 2-3 seconds. So
well, we'll see what happens for Tanner Kneebone in this race. Either way, he is a net 6th place, because Jamie Lee's got to pit and he's only 2 seconds off the back of Jamie Lee. Back down to Millington and Malarex, and who's pretty close together. Kieran Argent is now up in 12th. Where did Drone Lander come out? 16th place. Has he repaired that damage? Yes, he has. So clearly the damage was too bad for Drone Lander in this race to continue on his way. He's just been lapped by Gary Leach as well.
In a race that's been a little bit dull, unfortunately, there has been some really good racing moments, and I will not deny that, but it has been overshadowed by the connection issues. If we look at this second, third, fourth battle, Richie's been within that second for almost the entire race on Wolski, and Vasic has been slowly but surely, ever since his mistake, closing them back down. So he still could have a good shout at a second place tonight. Still 33 minutes to get it done. I think we're going to have a nice battle for the podium here soon.
I tell you what else, we're looking at a nice battle. Stapley's within 0.4 of Tanner now. So Stapley at the moment is going for that top 7 finish in the bronze category, and technically a top 6 finish, because Jamie Lee's right there to do his pit stop, and like I say, Mirko Ricci just gaining on Wolski a little bit, and there is Vasic in the background just trying to get closer as well. Malarex closing on Steve Millington. So this is an interesting race here for sure, and with all the disconnections, and again we can only apologise to the drivers who are possibly who are currently watching, if they are watching, for the disconnection issues. We do apologise for that. It is out of our control, and sadly the servers seem to go back to being stable, and then we just couldn't find the grid order to get the grid order set correctly from the mass disconnection. What we'll do next time is, when we notice a mass disconnection, I'll take a screenshot of the timing screen in front of me to get the full grid order, so we can do something about it there. But either way, Gary Leach leads from Wolski, with Mirko Ricci gaining on him. Vasic trying to get a bit closer. Kneebone's within 6/10 now of Jamie Lee, and this is going to be hard for Kneebone here, because if Jamie Lee fights this one hard, this is going to really allow Stapley to attack the back of Tanner.
Yeah, and one thing I'm thinking about is Stapley is not solidified in bronze. Since he joined the championship, he does have eval races. So, but luckily for him, it's overall points, not just bronze points. So still, otherwise, he'll still get a race win to his name because he is in bronze for this race. But otherwise, he stays in bronze or goes to silver in this championship. It's still a great result, and he's net P7 and looking on the back of net P6. And because of how slow Lee is, like you said, it's really pushing Tanner back now into Stapley, and we'll see if he has the patience to just stick behind and wait for his moment, or is he going to get aggressive with it? Looks like Tanner's going to try to get aggressive with it now, up the hill to the hairpin. Lee, yeah, he defends the inside a little bit, so Lee not willing to give this up, as you said.
Yeah, he's fighting for position and he's not giving it up here, even though he knows he's got to pit. Peckman is back into the pit lane then, so not sure why Peckman is in. Taylor's still got to do his stop-go 30, but that could allow Greaves and Stardog to gain a couple more points here. And, oh, a little slow. Did Tanner just tap the rear of Lee a little bit there? Not too sure. I don't think he did. Going back to the Mirko, Richie and Wolski fight, though, because look at that. Wolski, Richie, Vasic, sorry, all together now, all within that second. Gary's now 13 seconds up the road. Vasic just had a little look on Mirko Richie there. Couldn't do anything about it. What about the Tanner, Kneebone, Jamie Lee and Stapley fight? Well, Jamie Lee did not pit this lap around, so Kneebone has still got to fight him hard to get past here. And you feel that Tanner's got the pace over Stapley, but he's just being held a little bit by Jamie Lee.
Yeah, and you don't want to get too desperate, because he does have that tire advantage, and he will be on the back of Hunt. Well, not just... well, yeah, Hunt is up the row after Lee, but...
Whoa, Mirko, big mistake. Big mistake through the S's for Mirko Richie, and that's allowed Vasic through. So Vasic onto the podium. There's a mistake from Mirko Richie. So let's turn our attention back to this Kneebone and Stapley fight for what is net P6 at the moment. And Mirko Richie there... well, he won at Hungaroring. He's not been close to winning a race since then, because Argent pretty dominant in race 2 of Hungaroring. Scary and Steve was pretty dominant at Brands Hatch. And now all of a sudden, Mirko Richie just once again struggling for that race win here. And Jamie Lee, will he pit this lap time? Tanner's got underneath him. Tanner's got underneath Jamie Lee, and he's going to get him down the mine shaft. There you go now. Is this Tanner's opportunity? Jamie Lee still there. If he can have that nose by the crocodile, he could come back up the inside, and he doesn't. And Jamie Lee loses out to Tanner Kneebone. So looked like Lee maybe went wide on the exit of the hairpin corner. And, well, Mike Taylor's got to come in for his stop-go on the next lap. Otherwise, that will be a disqualified result for him. And Jamie Lee
I'm also looking at this fight between Malarex and Steve Millington. Steve has a bit of damage on the front of his car. Steve hits the cheetah, hits the curb, the death curb as I called it earlier, and that does allow Malarex through at the final corner. And yeah, Steve has a bit of damage on that car now. I wonder where that came from.
We've also got the fight between Neil Broom and Tucker here for the podium in bronze, the third place in the bronze category, as we have just lost, I believe, another driver from this race. Leach, Wolski, Vasic, Mirko, Hunt, Kneebone, Stapley, Malarex, Millington, Argent, Jamie Lee, Tucker, Broom to block. Well, we are down to 24 drivers, so I don't know who we have just lost. But we have
I'll tell you what, if I'm Tanner and I just had to fight for that move, and then the driver that I fought to get it from immediately dips in the pits.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one way to get a driver annoyed, very annoyed, because you can imagine his mindset right now is like, oh my god, I just fought all that time to get by you, and now you're not even going to hold up the other car that was behind me. But anyway, he has the fresher tires, he's on a similar fuel load now to Hunt. He's actually Argent is not making massive inroads, even with his repair damage, so maybe it was just a bit too much. Maybe he did get just a little bit too much damage from that incident. And yeah, he has the better car. Kneebone has the better car than Hunt now, and he'll be on the back of him soon for P5.
Diego Flores, who had the disconnection, he's back in, but that'll allow Greaves and Stardog possibly to get through.
The issue with it's not, we can't really consider it a mass disconnect. And because it is a mass disconnect, but it's over the course of 20-30 minutes. We keep getting like individual drivers or a group of 2 to 3 drivers that are getting disconnected, and over time it will be a mass disconnect. But it's just since we're only losing 2 to 3 at a time, it's just really hard. And that's the problem, isn't it? Determine a grid order, and
that's the problem, because you can't determine the grid order. We lost, a handful at the beginning, which wasn't classed as a mass disconnect. We lost a handful in that, after half an hour, which wasn't classed as a mass disconnect. So it was 2 lots of non-mass disconnections. Then we've just lost Flores, who's got back in. So, so it really is. Such a shame that we had 32 cars on. It's really annoying. It's very frustrating. More frustrating for the drivers than for us or the viewers watching. It's more frustrating for the drivers that it's happened to, as we see in Vasic attacking the back of Wolski now for second place.
Yeah, because imagine this. We have a unique scenario here where drivers have had 3 weeks to practice for a race again. And I always say the first race is the worst race because it's where the people are most sweaty. It's where people practice the most. Well, we gave drivers basically 3 weeks to practice for this
Langley.
race.
Here comes Vasic on Wolski. Has he already got the move done? He has already got the move done before the braking zone.
Back up to P2.
So he's back
Great
up into
recovery
second
from
place.
him.
It is indeed.
Great recovery from him tonight. And I think that gap to Leach is a bit too much, but well, yeah, definitely way too much. But he is in a class of his own this race, Gary Leach.
Gary
but yeah, drivers have had 3 weeks to practice for this race, and some have just been thrown in the bin immediately because of the server issues. And yeah, it has to be so frustrating for them.
Just looking at it here, Gary Leach has had a pole and a race win back at Kyalami. I can't remember when. So he has gone well at this circuit in the past. And he's going well once again here. And to be fair, we can't even blame the disconnects for Gary going well because Vasic had a mistake. Nope. He tumbled down the order. Wolski just wasn't able to catch Gary Leach. So Gary's won this race, outright, to be fair, or he leads this race outright. There's still 23 minutes left to go. Anything can happen.
It's the only driver I'd argue with that one is Sam, and Sam has been absolutely plagued tonight.
I think Sam could have been on
like
for a
3
podium.
times.
I think Sam would have been in this Wolski, Richie, and Vasic.
Definitely.
Fight. And Johnson as well, but Johnson wasn't the disconnect. Oh, yeah. Johnson was the incident.
Johnson, oh my gosh, yeah. If Johnson had a clean race tonight, he was quickest in practice. He didn't get the cleanest qualifying end, but you saw after he was in traffic and he was still setting fastest laps after he repaired his damage. So, yeah, it's just all a bit unlucky. It's how racing goes sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes you get a good Monaco Grand Prix when it's wet, and most times you get a shit one. So, sorry about that, but and sometimes that's how it goes. Most times you get a good race with us if you tune into SimPlay. Unfortunately, sometimes you get server issues, and it's just the life we live in the virtual world.
I've gone. Oh my god, that was brilliant. We're watching the fight for P11 and 12 at the moment between Broom and Tucker. Broom trying to get past Tucker for that bronze podium. Took a podium last night in the Houdaran Cup GT4 series. He has a look up the inside there on Tucker. Tucker's ran himself a little bit deep. Does this give Broom the exit? No, it doesn't. He took a bit of a tighter exit there for some reason, and that doesn't allow Broom the chance to get close. Kneebone within 6/10 of Hunt now, as that was a car off at the Cheetah. That was Phil Atherton. And,
I think Tucker got the best of Broom at the pit stops, because remember, Broom overtook him, so Broom's now caught back up to Tucker, and we're in for a good fight toward the end of this race.
Yeah, this could be a juicy fight. 21 minutes to go. Vasic 20.4 off the back of Leach, who needs a second a minute almost in this race as we start lap 39. Gary has just started that one, so he's not far behind lapping these two at the moment. Mirko Ritchie back within half a second of Wolski now, so he's chipped away, and that might be why, because Wolski's had a moment at the Cheetah. Oh, and he's been caught by Peckman. He's just been hit by Peckman. I don't know if Wolski was moving, and who's Peckman just been hit by now? I think that may have been Flores. It was Flores who he's just been hit by.
Here comes Hunt and Kneebone. Here comes Hunt and Kneebone. Watch out. Oh my gosh, I'm getting flashbacks to Mount Panorama. Oh my goodness.
And all of a sudden, Hunt and Kneebone are looking at a 4th and a 5th in this race. So Mirko's now back on the podium. And that was chaos there. I think Wolski moved on Peckman as Peckman was coming through the Cheetah. Flores, I think, an innocent bystander in that one. Hunt is flashing his lights at Wolski there like mad. And Mirko Ritchie back onto the podium now. He's not a lap car, no, but I'm wondering if it's because Wolski was slow to get away. I wonder if he chopped the nose off a little bit, defending in the final corner, did Wolski. I didn't quite see the end at the start of it. But Hunt and Wolski were damaged compared to Tanner Nebo. We know damage. Wolski a little wide there again.
If I'm Tanner, I think I need to back off here. We have 2 drivers. Oh my goodness! Oh, that's almost 3 wide into that corner. Tanner goes around the outside, almost to the pair of them. Gets a shoulder check off the track, and is still up the inside of Hunt though. Can he make it stick? And no, he can't. Oh my goodness! I was gonna say, if you're Tanner, I would back off and let these two take each other
Hunt and
out.
Tanner tap! Hunt and Tanner touch! Tanner has spun Hunt into the middle of the circuit, and now Stapley moves up to P6 ahead of
my
Hunt.
goodness.
Hunt gets it back the right way. Malarex now moves up into 7th. Where is Millington? Millington will get past Hunt. Argent might be too far behind, and that one I think may be looked at there. Did Tanner Nebo? No, it's Hunter's span on the rejoin, and he's in the wall again. So Argent may get past him now. And what drama late on at Kyalami. I think Tanner may have just clipped the outside, the rear of Hunt's car there. There is a car in the pit lane. Is that Hunt who has returned to the pits? Indeed it is. So he's back in the pit lane then. What a shame for Hunt, because he was driving so well. Even with that damage, he was still looking pretty decent.
Yeah, and we're at that point of the race where we don't have an extra 30 minutes most races, so a lot of drivers maybe get a little more desperate, and more incidents are likely to happen, and yeah, it's exactly what's happened here.
Well, we'll see what comes of that one then, but Tanner Nebone is come off of it pretty unscathed. We're back on the Tucker Broom fight for the time being, but Tanner really went for it round the outside of turn 5, and Hunt kept his car side by side at the chicane. He knew he would have had the inside line for the second part of it, but the coming together between the two of them means that Hunt was in the wall. And what a shame for Hunt. And yeah, he's going to really tumble down the order now, because he's going to have to wait not only for that damage to be repaired, and then the 2 minutes for returning to the pit lane. So what a shame. But Broom now fighting for not only a P3 in class, but a top 10 in this race, as Tanner now trying to get onto the back of Nebone here. Tanner trying to get onto the back of Wolski, sorry.
It's a 90-minute race for commentators too, don't worry.
I'm going off of 4 hours sleep, because I did Who Darren Cup, I did another commentary gig last night till 3 in the morning, and then I'm doing tonight on 4 hours sleep with a baby all day. So yeah, you can. I've not swore tonight. Let's remember this one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Tanner, was he just into the back of Wolski a little bit there? Maybe a little bit of a push down the mine shaft. Oh, Tanner.
Yeah, I think Tanner needs to be patient. He needs to be patient. He has the quicker car. This is why I said I thought he should back off, because both the cars he was racing have damage, and I thought they were just going to get desperate because of the incidents they were in.
Well, where is Hunt at the moment? He is still registered as P15, but Greaves is now on the same lap as him, as is Stardog. So this could be where Greaves can catch Hunt if Hunt doesn't get out the pit lane then. So we'll keep our eyes on that. That'll put Greaves back up to 15th. Don't forget, drop scores do get counted tonight. Broom has lost out quite a lot of time here. And I tell you what, Stapley could be on for a P5 in this race, as Tanner looks up the inside again at turn 4 and has to really get on the brakes earlier than Wolski. Wolski goes a little bit wide out of turn number 4. Tanner Nebone looking racy here, and look, Stapley's come to join them.
Stapley's come to join of the bronze class, and Malarex with a very silent second in the bronze class right now, and a great race for him, and still Broom and Tucker fighting it out for that podium there. So some great racing late on here. Tanner needs to be patient, just needs to be. He has the car advantage over Wolski here, so he looks to the outside though, and this hairpin, it can get very tight up here. Gonna look for the up and under, maybe. No, he tries to hold it around the outside, but he'll have the slipstream down the mine shaft now.
Stapley's getting closer. He's getting larger in the rear view mirror here. This is where I thought Tanner maybe tapped Wolski last time around. Wolski defends that inside line. Wow. Tanner's going to look right around the outside. The problem is the corner goes so deep. Can Wolski keep that nose there for the cheater? This will be brave if he can, but he can't. And Tanner moves up into P4. Now can Stapley do anything about Wolski in this race, who has had that mistake at the cheater a few laps ago? Broom is also gaining on the back of Tucker once again. That was 0.3 of a second, but can Stapley get ahead for P5 over Wolski and make a statement on his first race at SimPlay in the GT3s. Looks to the inside line, does Stapley, and tucks back in behind as Wolski turns into the corner. Has Wolski gone a little deep though, because Stapley looks to get alongside, has to stay right to the left-hand side of the circuit. Wolski all over the place with his defensive driving at the moment and can't do anything about it. Hunt is now down in 19th. Johnson, Sturrock, Stardog and Greaves, the beneficiary of Hunt being in that pit lane then. And yeah, shame for Hunt because he was going so well in this race. Is he back out on track? He is. Flores is the man in, and who's that? That was Jamie Lee, who has just flew past the rear of Hunt and into the wall he went. Not sure what happened with Jamie Lee there at all, but Dronelander and De Block won't complain. They've just got another place.
I'd like to also point out with how slow Wolski is, yeah, Stapley is right behind him, and I think that's why Kneebone was being dropped into Stapley. But let's just not look that far back. Malarex, 3 seconds. Steve, 4 seconds. If Wolski can hold this for a little longer on Stapley, it's going to reel those two cars in, and Malarex would be for the bronze win on Stapley if he gets closer.
We're into the final 15 minutes, and here goes Stapley having a bit of a look on Wolski on the inside line of the Crocodiles. Can't get it done there. And like you say, Malarex, Sturrock is the lap car in between these two. Stardog still the fastest man on the circuit at the moment. And what a job this has been from Stapley and Malarex, to be fair, in this race. Kieran Argent, 11 seconds behind Millington now. He's had no answer since his pit stop. And Steve's only 5 seconds off the back of this gaggle of cars then. Maybe 7 seconds off the back of Wolski.
Malarex has taken 2 seconds out of him. He was 3 seconds when I mentioned it, and it's only 1 second now.
Wolski's
he wants Sturrock to get out the way, and
I think Sturrock has.
Here we go.
I think Sturrock has, he has. Yeah, Malarex has passed the back marker. Wolski is really becoming a train here at the moment. Just going to drop back to Broom and Tucker for a second. That's 0.4 of a second. Broom still on the rear of Tucker. You see Gary Leach in the background there, just about to put a lap on these two for 11th and 10th place. And Gary will come to start lap 44 in a moment. Vasic has brought the gap down to 19.6 seconds, but there's only 13 minutes left to go. And it is Broom going to attack into turn 1. I don't think he's going to be close enough, but Stapley having a look coming into the S's on Wolski, and it was only a look. Malarex is getting even closer. Steve Millington, 5.3. Let's keep your eyes on the Steve Millington gap coming down towards Malarex now, because now he's in this train. Steve Millington could gain on these three pretty quickly.
Yeah, and if you're Stapley, you're getting a little more desperate. Your mirrors are full of
Tucker's
P2
wide.
in the
Sorry,
bronze
Langers.
class.
Tucker's is wide, and this could allow Broom to come through here in towards turn 5. Broom with ease past Tucker. Tucker made his own mistake at turn 4. Broom's a little wide, giving Tucker the room at the moment. That'll give him the inside line though for the next corner. And Broom up to 3rd place in bronze and 10th overall. And now look, Sturrock there in the background, by the way, he's having to go so slow as Millington's actually lost 2 seconds. So maybe, in fact, Steve's got damage as well, hasn't he, I believe. So Steve's maybe struggling in this race as well. But yeah, wow, Sturrock's just having to go even slower to not get involved in this three-way fight.
Yeah, and Stapley just cannot get the pass done, even with a fresh car compared to the BMW's damage. And he's looking to the inside, and Wolski fades him off. And yeah, like you said, Sturrock's just, I mean, he's got his popcorn bucket out. He's just enjoying the show here.
He is enjoying the show.
He can race him, but he can race him, but I'm glad he's not interrupting the fight.
Yeah. Oh, Malarex has had a moment. He's dropped it on the exit of turn 4, so Malarex has gone around. So this could grant Stapley the bronze win. Steve has just gone past him. Argent's now coming onto the exit of turn 4. The 207 has had a moment. Who's the 207? That's Mike Taylor. Ooh, he's got big damage on that car. That could allow Phil Atherton to catch him, who looks like Phil's just come out the pits once again. Tucker trying to come back on Broom. But yeah, Stapley now putting the pressure on Wolski. And he's had a slow knee bone. It is a slow knee bone. What's happened to Tanner? Tanner's slow and Wolski's through. Stapley's coming up the inside of Tanner Kneebone. What has happened to Tanner there? And Tanner's... Oh, he's nearly dropped the rear. Something's not right. Something is not right with that car. He's had a moment. It must have been through the S's. And Tanner gets back up to speed. But now Wolski's back up to 4th. Stapley is 5th. And Stapley's nearly P4 in this race as your bronze leader.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What an ending we're being treated to here. I guess the drivers heard us and they felt sorry for us, so they started making mistakes left and right to give us a treat at the end here.
Oh my, is this a treat? And what a treat it is, because the bronze leader could be on for a P4 overall. You know, we think back to last season of Bettison and some of the results that Bettison put on as the bronze leader. You know, this is just as good as that to me, because Bettison drove phenomenal. How many top 10s did Bettison get last season? And all of a sudden, Stapley rocks up, and he's come to make a statement here. Let me tell you, he has come to make a statement in this championship already. We're into the final 10 minutes.
I think what has benefited him tonight is if you look at his car and you look at other cars, it doesn't have many scratches on it, and that's been his big focal point tonight. Is that he stayed out of incidents and he stayed consistent. Most nights he probably wouldn't be up here in the top 5, but because of how consistent he's been, and he's keeping it on track, unlike the Forever Ford car behind him, and so yeah, that's why he's up here, and that's why he's in this fight for 4th place, and it's well deserved.
It is well deserved, and Gary Leach has got that gap back up to 20.6 seconds. How dominant has Gary been tonight? Langley, talk us through this fight. I want to type up the driver of the day.
Yeah, Stapley looking to the outside of Wolski. Wolski, is he going to crowd him out of row? No, he stays on the curb to Stapley. But that's going to leave Kneebone in for the fight as well now. Just crawling back into it. Kneebone all over the back of Stapley. Looks to the outside at the last corner now. Is he going to try to hang it around the outside? Going to be hard to keep it around there. Can he get the traction down? No, he doesn't, but he is now tucked in the slipstream of Stapley. Can Kneebone make a move into this first corner? Can Stapley make a move into this first corner? Stapley a little too far back. Kneebone not so much. Up the inside goes Kneebone, and he's late on the brakes to the apex first. Stapley tries to hold it around the outside. The bronze leader there does not want to make too many mistakes over the curb of turn 2, but then Kneebone is through and gets the job done on Stapley. Wow, there. He thought Stapley was going to get by Wolski, and then all of a sudden Kneebone just out of nowhere gets right back by Stapley. Great move.
Do you know what I feel sorry for at the moment is Sturrock, because he doesn't want to get involved in this fight for a potential 4th place, and he wants to just try and get on with his driving, but he's got to kind of go slow at times. He's overtaken Stapley now due to Stapley's mistake, but yeah, what a race this is turning into.
You know it's bad for him.
Go on.
One of the quickest drivers on the track is only 11 seconds behind him too.
Yeah, good spot. Good spot. So yeah, he's coming under pressure, or will be coming under pressure from Johnson.
I wonder what that gap was just 5 minutes ago. I'm actually curious what that gap was. I have no idea what it was because I wasn't looking down there. But yeah, if I mean, he doesn't have to give this spot up to Stapley at all. He can keep this spot if he wants to. He can race these cars.
He can race these cars. He is allowed to unlap himself. And I tell you what, Wolski is a sitting duck to Kneebone, but Kneebone's just making too many mistakes at the moment. Steve's now appearing in the background. What was 7 seconds about 5 minutes ago, he's now 3.2.
Yeah, here goes
to Stapley.
Sturrock wants to get on with it.
Yeah, he does.
He's saying chop chop through. I don't want to be caught by this Porsche.
I think Tanner's better off
closing him down.
I think Tanner's better off letting him go. I really do, because Tanner just can't pass Wolski. I think Tanner's possibly better off letting Sturrock go and let Sturrock try and put some pressure on Wolski. And if Wolski makes a mistake trying to let the lapped car unlap himself, you know, Johnson's now 10.9 behind. Wolski just struggling a little bit. Still watch for Stapley in the background.
Wow. Imagine if he was actually on the lead lap here. He's overtaken 3 in the span of almost a lap. Look at that.
Oh, that delayed Wolski through the corner, and now here comes Tanner Kneebone to the outside of turn 5. Stapley's now got up the inside of Tanner, just in the background. Stapley can't do anything about it. Tanner couldn't get past Wolski. We are being treated in this last 10 minutes to an absolutely epic race. And there is Steve Millington, 2.6, with Malarex only 2.5 behind him.
Yeah, Malarex made that massive mistake, but good point is that he didn't get any damage from it. So, oh my goodness, could we get a 5-way battle for 4th through 9th, or 4th through 8th at the end of this race? Oh boy.
4th through 8th with a battle for the bronze lead in the middle of that as well. Let's not forget.
Yeah, exactly.
Tucker's got back ahead of Neil Broom for the final podium spot in bronze. And Kneebone, he got to try and get past Wolski. Has a look up the inside now. Goes a little deep because he'd nearly got the nose chopped off by Wolski, who was turning into the corner. Nothing wrong with that from Wolski at all. He's got to turn in at some point, and Kneebone was not alongside. There's Steve. There's Malarex. Kieran Argent's even further back in the background, so Kieran's not going to be in this fight at all, you'd imagine.
You got to think, if you're in Steve's shoes, you were like, okay, I'm good with my P7.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you see this gaggle of cars ahead of him. Because remember, he was dropping off, but now he's closing the gap. That's probably because he can actually see who he's chasing down now.
Makes you a bit more motivated to try and get possibly 3 more places in this race and get the job done there. But Steve at the moment is just trying to get a little bit closer. He is pretty much. And Malarex 2.6.
Inside. Nope.
Has a look. Wolski goes a little wide. Stapley goes a little wide. Steve is now with them fully. Oh, what a race this has turned into in this final 10 minutes. What a treat this has been here today at Kyalami in this 90-minute race. Been an absolute cracker of a race here. And
Kneebone looks to the outside, is going to try to do the up and under. Don't think it'll be possible there, but yeah, Millington on this train now, and look at that Porsche right behind them, the one that made the mistake, but was closing them down oh so fast before. Oh man, I wish we had another 15 minutes now.
Goes up for a 2-hour race next season. There's Wolski fending from Kneebone, fending from Stapley, fending from Millington, with Malarex 2.7 behind. Argent's dropped somehow to 22 seconds behind this Malarex. Tucker is fighting with Broom. It looked like Tucker's gone a little wide again at turn 4. Broom's having a look but can't get the job done. Where is Argent on track through the S's? So these two are a little further behind. 21 behind Argent. Back to the Wolski fight with Kneebone, Stapley, Millington. And look who appears there. Look in the background. Malarex. Look how far Sturrock has gone up the road, by the way.
I'll tell you what I would love. You said 2-hour race. Okay, 2-hour reverse grid, since we'd have to cut out qualifying. Boom.
That'd be absolutely fantastic. That would be fantastic. That would be. 2-hour reverse grid, no qualifying, starting at 8, finishing at 10. Boom, there we go.
Yes, exactly.
Someone who, if anybody's listening to the stream and is in the Discord, put that in the suggestions.
Kneebone around the outside. Oh my goodness. He comes back across Wolski, but he had to make room for himself. Wolski was pinching Kneebone to the inside. Oh, and then Wolski goes deep.
Oh, there's Phil who spun.
Phil. Oh my goodness.
Phil was in the middle of the road and Malarex has spun. And I think Andrew Taylor's just been caught up in that. There is cars absolutely everywhere. As Jimenez in the chat says, fair point though. Paul Williams says more points for this race and more reason for this to be a nothing race. Racing nonetheless, but this needs to be re-ran, says Paul Williams. I don't think it will be re-ran. I think most people are going to find this as their drop score round because of the fact you're not going to score as many points potentially in this race as what you would over 2 races.
Found himself on the cusp of a top 5 in this race.
Not
absolutely. Wow.
Crazy.
Jeez.
Absolutely
I have
crazy.
No words.
Unbelievable is the words I'm thinking of.
Tanner came across Wolski first, but it was a bit of a pinch because you have to open up to take that corner flat. And one good saying I always like to think of: if you're willing to pinch someone, be willing to crash. So it's very true. And Millington all over the back of Wolski looks to the outside, and even though Stapley got barged off the track, he's still in this fight. Not too much damage to that Aston Martin, a little bit of damage to that Ferrari, but that BM very slow in a straight line from its heavy damage. Steve looking to the outside. Is he going to try the same move that Tanner just did around the outside? Wolski goes a bit deeper this time. Oh, is it going to be a carbon copy here? A little bit of contact. And Wolski does the same exact thing and pinches him to the apex, and there's contact again.
Little
and now
Morty.
Stapley. Oh,
and here
man,
comes
it's
Stapley
very
on
aggressive.
Steve
It's
Millington to
very
the outside
aggressive.
of turn number 5 is Stapley now. Gary Leach has started the final lap of this race. These guys are only at turn 5, and Wolski still got this lap and the next to try and hold on to this. Remember, Kneebone's got past Wolski once before and dropped it, but now all of a sudden Stapley is trying to attack the back of Millington. He just needs to, at some point, Stapley just needs to think, I'm leading in bronze to Steve Millington, over the curb, round he goes, he's been caught with Stapley, where's Malarex? He's coming, Stapley and Steve haven't got going yet. Steve lost it all on his own. That will pretty much guarantee Wolski a P5, and here comes Malarex for the lead in bronze with 1.5 laps to go for these drivers.
Oh my goodness.
Malarex leads the bronze category from absolutely out of nowhere.
Oh my goodness. Malarex with 2 mistakes of his own, and now he's in the lead of bronze anyway. Stapley has driven brilliantly tonight and just got collected in an incident that he had no control over. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what an end to this race.
This has been carnage. There's been cars everywhere in this race. And my God, has this been an entertaining 90 minutes. We will turn to Gary Leach in a moment, who is about to cross the line, or about to enter the final corner to win this race. He comes down towards the crocodile now. You keep your eyes on that on that Malarex and Stapley fight at the moment. But Gary Leach is already flashing his lights. He's pretty comfortable here. I wouldn't do it too much, because if you'd have dropped it at the cheetah big time, Gary, me and Langley would have found it very hard not to giggle. But he rounds the final corner. Gary Leach, not lights to flag, but an absolute dominant display here at Kyalami. Gary wins the 90-minute race, the first one of the season, with Vasic about to come home in second.
Yeah, and Malarex and Stapley still fighting here. Ooh, Stapley gets a little loose at that right-hander. I think Wolski's far enough up the road now. Oh my goodness, Malarex and Stapley just behind Millington. They're going to fight it all the way to the flag here. And Vasic does come home second with Richie and coming through the final corner, and third, Kneebone's just coming down the mine shaft now. So shows you how much they've been fighting. Malarex still on the back. Malarex does not have the damage like Steve does, but both cars are quite slow in a straight line, but Malarex a bit too far back to pick up a super strong slipstream here. If anything, he's going to have to make something happen in the final corners. He gives a little look to the inside. It shouldn't scare Steve offline too much. He's getting a little closer, though. If he can get a good run through this cheetah, he'll have to absolutely send it. And he does send it. Is he going to have a look to the inside of this final corner? He does. He tries to go late on the brakes, and Steve fins it off. He gets a little loose. Is Stapley going to get the run to the line over Malarex? I think he does. He has the nose ahead, and he's ahead.
Stapley wins
the bronze category by 45 milliseconds. Does Stapley win the bronze race? Unbelievable finish. That's got to be the closest finish, or one of the closest finishes for a race win in SimPlay history.
I can't honestly believe that has just happened.
Oh, what an end to the night. Oh my goodness. Stardog ends up picking up the fastest lap in the silver category down in P16. Johnson, after that first lap incident, recovers to P17. Whew! Talk about a boring race, Matt. I'll shut my mouth next time.
Mate,
Commentator's curse.
Absolutely crazy. Gary's not going to do an interview. His head is absolutely pounding. He's off to bed. So yeah, Gary's not going to be doing an interview tonight. So sadly, we won't be able to hear from.
I'm sorry. We with all that fighting, we also missed Neil Broom getting back by Tucker. Unless you picked up that fight, I forget. But Neil Broom picks up the third spot on the bronze podium. And oh my goodness. Oh.
We could take a deep breath now, as I've got to now try and input these race results. But what a race that was. Absolutely phenomenal. We'll hope that people join us in the commentary box now for a quick interview in this race. But my, oh my, what a race that was.
I cannot believe. I mean, we've talked about 60 minutes before, but all the action in that race, no exaggeration, came in that extra 30 minutes.
No.
and it was unbelievable. I don't know if we have a stat on that. And I don't know if you can think back to any other races that had a super close finish. But that has to be maybe the closest finish, and I know it's a class finish, but closest finish for a win in SimPlay history. You may have just witnessed it here in Pro-Am on Wednesday night.
I think it may have been the closest race finish in a race. I genuinely think it may have been that. I can't think of one that has been any closer. If anybody in the chat knows of a race finish any closer, for Stapley's first win at SimPlay Motorsport as well for himself. So what a drive for him. Neil Broom getting that third place on that podium. Top result for Neil Broom. He'll be chuffed to bits with this one, I'm sure. Oh my, what a drive, what a race. The 90 minutes, the disconnections kind of put a bit of a dampener on the entire race this evening. But then them last 10 minutes absolutely changed the picture of how this race looked. It really has made tonight an absolute adventure. Let's be honest, it's been an absolute adventure these 20 minutes tonight. It's been fantastic to see. We'll see if anybody does join us in the commentary box for a chat. I'm going to try and get the championship standings up to date. Your team's championship standings, remember this is all provisional, and this is before the drop scores are taken into account. Let me just double check that they are loaded properly on this one. They are for this, so I can put the drop scores in for this race. So we'll hopefully see what will happen there. But SimPlay Racing lead on 775.5 points. Obviously, the 0.5 should work itself out by the time we get to Indianapolis. Greasy Bandits Racing, a second place now from Forever Forward. 4Q are in fourth from Richie's course team. In fifth, Vanguard Race Team sixth from Team GBR. Team Merlot, Cloud9, Balkan Sim Hub, Pages Racing Team, Infinity Racing Team, who are no longer with us. Old Sim and Unsworth have pulled out of the championships. And it's FRL Racing Team, Black and Blue Racing, Billy Nomix, Mustang Alley Racing, and Quantum Motorsport. Your bronze category looks a little like this, and it's Peckman who now leads the championship on 220 points. Provisional results, don't forget these are from that of Malarex. Page is now third. Tucker moves himself up into P4 in the championship. Cherrymore down to fifth. Broom sixth. Privet seventh. Stapley P8 already from Taylor, Atherton, Smith, Simcoe, and we're yet to see Ian Best. And in the silver category, your championship standings look a little like this. Gary Leach leads from Steve Millington with Mirko Ritchie. Then it is Wolski, Greaves, Tan and Ebone. Is that correct? Because I believe Gary scored half a point here tonight. So, yeah, apparently that's right. Not sure if that has worked out correct, because I don't know why Gary would be on 402 exactly. We'll double check if these points are correct, but I'll add them up on the calculator, but I don't know why Gary's not on 0.5 somewhere. Then it's Wolski, Greaves, Kneebone, Argent, Johnson, Stardog, Williams, Hunt, De Block, Sturrock, Flores, Lee, Lino, Dronelander, Vasic, Williams, Waste, Brian Craig, Gabino, Taylor, Betson, and Cummings. It doesn't look like that anybody is going to join us. Driver of the day in the stream has gone the way of Gary Leach. Langley, are you there?
I am.
Driver of the day, silver, bronze, and final thoughts.
I think silver is easy to say Gary after that one, and he does. And so I'll give my overall driver of the day to Gary Leach, just absolute masterclass out there. I'll give my honorary shout to Vasic. Debut in the GT3s and a P2 and a great recovery up to P2 at that. He was down to P7 at one point. Oh my goodness, that bronze driver of the day is hard to give because if we're being honest, they kept making mistakes everywhere. The funny thing is, Malarex and Stapley qualified P18 and P19 right next to each other as well. So if I had to give it to someone, I guess it'd have to be Stapley. And I want to give an honorary shout to Neil Broom for his podium.
Yeah, I'm going to give my bronze driver of the day to Stapley. I think he was fantastic. Yeah, I think you can't look further than Gary Leach, but I want to give a shout out in bronze to Broom and Malarex, and in silver I want to give a shout out to not only Vasic, good debut in the GT3s for him, but also to Sam Greaves and Michael Johnson. They had great pace, great racing tonight, but sadly due to the errors couldn't do it. We will try and get these points sorted and up to date for you as soon as possible. Obviously, the full tables after instance will get released for you all to take a look at. But what a race!
I do think Tucker also deserves a shout in the bronze category. Strong night, and he ran in the top 3 most of the night. Did not end up with the podium, but he was running up there for most of the night. So kudos to him.
I agree. Well, we'll be back live tomorrow night with the Pro 90-minute race, where hopefully the internet will not have the issues it has had tonight. And then next week we'll be back to the normal format in the GT3s as we head over to Watkins Glen for the fourth round of the season. Make sure you join us for that one. It's going to be an absolute cracker in New York for that race. Don't forget, if you are new here, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the bell to be notified, as well as checking out our fantastic sponsor, Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, including mugs, t-shirts and other things as well, including SimPlay Motorsport merchandise. Their link is in the description, and we will be back next week. But from me,